during extreme heat.
The demonstrations have disrupted local commerce and transportation in the region.
A Virginia city councilman survived an attempted murder after being set on fire in an apparent personal attack.
A 29-year-old suspect was arrested and charged following the incident. The victim sustained serious injuries but is receiving medical treatment.
The U.S. Treasury Department imposed sanctions on Brazil's Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes, escalating diplomatic tensions.
The move follows disputes over judicial actions linked to former President Bolsonaro. The sanctions aim to address perceived overreach in Brazil's legal system.
A Canadian man pleaded not guilty to the murder of his 9-year-old daughter during a vacation in upstate New York.
The incident has drawn significant attention due to its tragic nature. Authorities are conducting a thorough investigation into the circumstances of the girl's death.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
I could, you couldn't, right. Oh, well, look.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
I gotta go over and do some things. Excuse me for a minute. No, that's not what I want.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
And you can't push the right button. Right for you.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with a Dog. You make me laugh.
I would like you to laugh. It makes you feel better. Oh, look at this. A new kind of scammer botter. What would it be? Whatever, a grifter in the chat room. Welcome to the Griftathon. 24/7 Grift Nation on the Grift Planet. Good morning, folks. It is Friday, August 1st, 2025. New month here, and big deal, right? Anyway, thanks for being here. Today we have a guest, Debbie Dobbins, the Queen of Magic, Manifestation. I'm already feeling a little Willy vibe there, a little Zinphobia. I got a Zinphobia. Oh, look how bright I got there. Yeah, well, I'm playing with buttons again. My lighting, that's better. I feel better in the dark. I'm like a vampire. I think Debbie should be here in the second hour, by the way. And I don't know, Debbie. I'm trying to avoid saying something really ridiculously overtly sexual about the Debbiness of Debbie. Debbie, I believe, is used to talking to women. I don't know. She has two different publicists who arranged her appearance on this program. I don't know if she knows that this is almost exclusively, 85% male audience here. No babes care about us. And you can't blame them. If you were a woman and you tuned in and you saw that or this or that, you'd probably say, this ain't for me. This ain't for me. Look at that guy. He didn't even fucking bother to shave. Look at him. But we're going to be discussing her book called Your Inner Billionaire. And I think I've got a lot of thoughts on this, and I'll probably express them now to scare her away if she's listening. First of all, I hate billionaires. So if I got an inner billionaire, I want to kill him. I don't want to. I don't like billionaires. I never listen. To be fair, I've never met a billionaire. I think. Whatever. But I can't think of one of. Maybe Bezos is an all right kind of guy, sort of. It's a little bit of a dick too. But it could be a good guy. I don't know. But other than him, who do we got? Who do we got? Name him. Name one. Name the good billionaire. Even millionaires. Not sure. I mean, I have one or two friends I know who are multimillionaires. You know what? Friends. I got one friend who's a multimillionaire. And I have another. Yeah, Warren Buffett. I don't know Warren Buffett. Maybe he's a good guy. I like Jimmy Buffett, but he's dead. He's dead, and nothing can bring him back. To borrow a line from Goodfellas. What was that? Goodfellas or yeah. Anyway, bring out your and I think it's meant for women. So like, I got to first get in touch with my inner woman, which is not that hard, to be honest. I'm pretty much of a bitch most of the time. But well, I don't know. We'll see when she gets here. But I don't think the problem is, in order to be a billionaire, you really gotta want to be a billionaire. And I don't want to be a billionaire. I don't even want to be a millionaire. I will be honest with you, I'm shooting for 100 air today. I'm shooting for 100 air. I don't think I'll make it. Boy, it seemed, because honestly, the money comes in, the money goes out, the money comes. As soon as the checks hit the bank, the bills just need to be paid, and just empty it all out. And just on a bitchy note, I'm told you I'm a bitch most of the time. I'm searching. If you're listening to this and you happen to book me sometimes, unless you own the title of booking agent, I'm not talking about you. I mean, if you're one of these people who books me for events, but you're not a booking agent, I'm not talking about you. I love you people, because you always there's always cash in hand at the end of the show. That's why I love you people. What I'm about to say is I am still searching. I'm 65. I'm going to be 66 in 29 days. I'm still searching for an honest booking agent. GD wants to know what's the most cash I have. Why can't I'll wait for him to come on and we'll talk about the most cash I've ever had at one time. I don't think I really want to. It was a long time ago, and the bag, it was, let's just say, a lot. But just coming back to what I was saying, I'm still searching for an honest booking agent. I have a booking agent who has been booking me for 25 years, and we were on direct deposit for a good 20 years. And then recently, he said, can I cash a business check? Yeah, I can, but what's up? What's up with that? I like the direct deposit. I don't want to have to go to the bank. They're making some changes in the way they do things, and it would just be more convenient. And yeah, that's okay, but okay. So then there's a certain date that I'm supposed to get the checks by, and when I don't get the checks, I write to them. Well, it was mailed that day. Well, mailed. You know what the mail is like here too. By the way, I'm in Pony Express country. The mail doesn't always come, so I get these things. Well, it was mailed on such and such date, and then sometimes. So far, it's been 3 months now that he's on the checks instead of direct deposits, and 15 days from the day it was mailed locally. I mean, he's not across the country. He's not in Thailand. He's on Long Island on the South Shore. Doesn't take 15 days for the check to get here. And last time, after complaining, like, where's my check, dude? So, it was mailed. I know it was mailed. Check your bank account. I was like, we're not doing direct deposit anymore. It wouldn't be in my bank. I'd get the check first and deposit it. And he kept assuring me that it was in the mail. And then 2 days later, it showed up in the mail, but there was no postmark on it, meaning, I know what this means, and you know what this means. He didn't mail it. He drove past my mailbox 15 days later and put the thing in there, thinking I wouldn't notice there was no postmark on the envelope. So coming back to my original statement here, I'm still searching for a honest booking agent. Will my button pusher work over here? Probably not. I'm gonna play you. This is just for cover, by the way. You want to get Dubby? You want to try Dubby? First of all, let's try Dubby. Let's take the lid off. I still got a cabinet full of good brew if you want that. But you want to go to Dubby.com and use the code MINDDOG, and you get yourself some jitter-free, jitterless, not jitter-free, jitterless energy blend of. They got more flavors than Carter's Got Pills, and Carter doesn't really have any pills anymore because he's dead. Hello, I'm just. I can remove the W. But yeah, try out the W, because if not, you know, I'm this sponsor stuff is just overwhelming. I can't handle the business stuff. You know what I need? It's Friday. I need this.
Mind Bloom is helping people achieve life-changing clinical and personal breakthroughs, alchemizing both the psychedelic medication, psychiatric care from psychiatric clinicians, coaches, we call psychedelic guides, and a lot of content and meditations and programs into this really transformational experience that, because it's delivered at home, costs a lot less and is a lot more convenient for people to receive.
All right, in the room with me now are somebody I'm very upset with. Well, we'll get to that in a little bit. A man who sends pictures of weird shit in the middle of the night that disturb me. Mr. J.P. Pendleton. Good morning, J.P.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. If you're like most people, your inner billionaire is buried under your inner doubt. And if you're like me, you've been drowning your inner doubt with sex, drugs, and alcohol. The trifecta of success. MindDogTV.com.
Yeah. I appreciate
We'll learn you're right. We'll learn you're right. Support your local mercenaries and enjoy the suffering.
Yeah. I would think, first of all, because Debbie talks to women. I got a thing for Debbie's. I don't know if I ever told you this, but
well, I know you like little Debbie's.
That too. I lost my virginity. Well, I lost my virginity intentionally. I had lost my virginity.
Which time? The first time, the second time, or the third time?
Well, the first time was in the back of a car. I was drunk, passed out, and this girl was riding me. I don't count that. I count that as rape. Okay. But the first time I wanted it and got it was a girl named Debbie. She was older than me. She had a car. I fucked her in the front seat of a car, and she said, because did you come in me? And I was like, yeah. Was she got all angry. I was like, I thought I was supposed to. I don't know. What? That's bad. I thought that was the point here. But yeah, so I got a Debbie thing. I got to admit, I have a Debbie thing. But I'm just thinking, if I were a woman, I'd be.
It sounds to me like you're more like a debutante. You came inside of her and made her angry.
Well, yeah,
that's a debutante.
But now, this is not the way to start the program. But we fucked in the front seat of her car. It was a small car, by the way, and I was already 6 foot tall. And we went into a bar afterwards. And my friend was there, and I was bragging to him about what just happened. And he goes, "Is that you on the back of her dress over there?" And I looked at her dress, and she had like a little wet spot at the bottom of her dress. I was like, "Oh my God, I guess it is." I'm sorry. So that's the program for you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah. So let's get past the Debbie. But I think if I were a female, I wouldn't need. I'd be married to Jeff Bezos or some billionaire, and just like. To having to eat it, let them work for the money. Let me just cheat on them.
To be honest, there now at last count, and the Reverend had thought it was 800, and the Reverend thought it was 83, but he did say, if he's wrong, let's say it was 830. There's only at last count at the most 900 billionaires
Right.
in the country. 900.
You think
I
that'd be
think
his one?
it was actually the actual real number that I have is 813, but that was like a year ago or the beginning of the year.
Yeah, but so let's just say somebody's got $999 million and 900 whatever and 99 cents. They're close enough that they
Well,
probably
in
not
that case, what you do is before you marry them, you give them $10,
Yeah.
and then
All right. To answer your question about the most money I've ever had, cash. That's the
yeah.
question.
Well, I said cash because I didn't want to include like equity and house and stuff like that. It's like liquid asset, something that you could just spend right away.
Yeah.
So if it's in your bank account, that counts as cash to me.
Well, here's the thing, and it was a long time ago, and with inflation, oh my God, yeah, I think it was, and I'm not exactly sure, but it was between $500,000 and $600,000 in a bag. That was the wrong bag. I took the wrong bag, and it belonged to a very bad person, and he was looking for his money. And I didn't know I even had the money on me, and I had it on me for a good 24 hours. And thank God none of it got stolen because I would be dead. But so I had on my possession somewhere, I think north of $575,000 in cash in my right hand. Well, not in my hand, but in a bag that was being held in my right hand. It wasn't mine. How much I've had personally, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't even account. I can't even think about what I've had cash on hand. I have probably not more than $10,000 at any time.
Exactly how much the most I've ever had, and I know exactly how long I had it.
Really?
Yeah, I had $68,265.15 in my account. And actually that's wrong. It would be a little bit more than that. I made a deposit, and when they entered the deposit, they put in, instead of like $700, which was my paycheck at the time, they put in $68,265.15, my account number.
Wow.
So I get my receipt, and it says your current balance is, and I'm like, and so I turned around and walked back, and I said to the lady, I said, I think you made a mistake. And she goes, what? And I showed her, I said, this is what I deposited, and this is what you put in my account. She goes, oh, thank you. And I said, you're welcome. And I said, I just didn't want to see anybody losing their job over something like that. She's, oh, we would have caught it by the end of the day. And I'm thinking to myself, it'd have been gone by the end of the day.
Yeah, I give you credit for even saying I think you made a mistake. I would have went to see if I could.
Well, I was being nice. I knew she made a mistake, but
yeah, but I would have made a withdrawal first to verify that the mistake was real, and then I would have disappeared. Wow. All right. Well, you're an honest man. What the fuck are you doing here?
My inner billionaire sent me to help you.
Do you think she's a billionaire? Because that's got to be my first question. So
no, first of all, if she was her last name is Dobbins. Okay. Anybody familiar with Don Quixote? And I'm not really. I'm only familiar with like the Cliff Notes version. I never actually read it. But if I'm unless I'm mistaken, Don Quixote's steed was named Dobbin. And Don Quixote rode around on Dobbin fighting windmills, right? So, which is just fantasy. So he's using Dobbin to fight fantasies and this is how I see it. This Dobbin, you ride her to fight your fantasy, to face your fantasies. You're not going to ever be a billionaire.
Well, maybe you're onto something there, but you're definitely onto one thing. Well, I think you've uncovered a psychological trigger. I think Donald Trump, in his youth, identified with Donald Quixote, and this is where his windmill fetish comes from. I got to chase windmills. I got to destroy windmills. It's in my mind. I'm a Don, like Don Quixote. That's what I think. I think either that or I'm just stupid. But Or maybe
or three things can be true at one time.
I know.
Yes, you're stupid. Yes, that is the source of his fetish, and yes, he's stupid as well.
Wow. All right. Well, so I didn't think of three things. I just thought of two things, but that's fine.
Well, that's why I'm the inner billionaire.
Well, this is why I'm upset with you. I don't know if you even know I'm upset with you, and it has nothing to do with that weird picture you sent in the middle.
Oh, that wasn't a weird picture. I thought that was a very good picture.
Yeah, but it was kind of, I don't know, it was kind of cryptic in like I knew whatever. We don't.
I knew her when she was a he.
Right? Is that real?
No, that's real. I did. I knew her before surgery.
And why did you feel? Well,
it was a picture they just posted that picture that popped up in my that picture popped up in my feed.
And you felt like necessary to show me, but that's fine. I just want to look at it one more time and see surgery. I don't know if surgery does the trick.
Well, some of that was hormones as well. I think the actual surgery was down under.
Yeah, like Adam's apple. I don't know. The Adam, lost it. What do they do about the neck thing when they do the surgery?
Well, I think if you take a small hammer, you can actually pound out that. You can pound that out.
That's dedication. You got to really want it then. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. The face.
And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Because the last time I saw her, it was maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and she was full on woman then, and she was sitting across from me, and I thought, that's weird. I never thought she was attractive before. It's weird, and I kept thinking something's not right. It took me a few minutes to figure it out. She had sprayed herself with like some kind of pheromone or something, so that when guys smell her, she's like,
that's cheating.
Yeah, it is cheating because that's I like the way my wife smells. You know, I'm attracted to that smell, and so for someone to like find that smell and put it on them, it's like it is. It's just like, okay, I know who you're not.
Yeah. Well, I don't want
to. And the last time I saw you, you didn't smell like that.
I look at the face and it looks like a guy I might have. It still has a very dudish, even though they've done some like restructuring of the face or something to give it like a more female chin or whatever. Still, the look on the face still looks like a dude. Like, and I don't know. To me, that I'm not gay.
Oh, I can show you a different one, and not of her. Because I have another one that I was like, whoa, that's a big improvement. If I took that face, well, actually now she looks like a feminine, attractive version of Boy George. But before she looked more like Man George. And she went from Man George to Boy George. Now she's like Girl George.
Yeah, that picture looks like well, at least from the neck up, it looks like a dude I used to work with at Electrosound. Way too much. Like I still see his face, and now it's just so silly. I'm sorry, and I know I'm being a transphobe, homophobe, whatever I am. I'm scared. I'm scared of whatever. Where's Ron when I need him to tell me it's okay? Everybody's bi.
Which I reached out to Ron last night. I didn't hear back from him.
He's given up on us, and I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either. I think he's got to move on. He's got to do things with his life, you know.
Yeah, he's got to go pursue everybody's bi agenda that he has. Make America. See, and we never thought about. Well, maybe you never thought about, but MAGA. I have a new acronym, I guess. MARS. Mars. Make America really shitty, because the immigration thing, and I think there's a serious something to be said for this theory that I have. Immigration is down. Illegal immigration is down, and obviously deportations are going on in there, but that's not stopping people from wanting to come here. What's stopping people from wanting to come here is America is not attractive to them anymore, because they used to be willing to come here because it represented a better life. Seeing what America has become, and they're not wanting to come here. So the plan to make America great again was to make America really shitty, MARS, and then the immigrants don't want to come here because it's really shitty. I think there's something to that. That's why immigration is there.
Well, that's how I think that's pretty much how it's always been. They came here for the opportunities,
Right.
and there were companies willing to provide those opportunities for for lower wages. So to get work on the cheap, they were willing to say, "Yeah, sure, come on over. We'll hire you. We'll pay you under the table. We need cheap labor."
Yeah.
Now, the problem is that Trump is bumping his head against his billionaire friends, his corporate friends, to say, "Look, what are you doing to us? We need the cheap labor." And Trump is going, "Yeah, but I have these other friends and they need to see a whiter America. What are we going to do?" And so they say, "Well, how about carve outs? How about, if you're in the service industry, you get a carve out." So, okay. And if you're in agriculture, how about us farmers? Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And meat packers. Oh, okay, meat packers. All right. And what about us people who build houses? Okay, we'll get a carve out for you too. And next thing you know, within the next 3 or 4 years, the carve out will be for anyone working in America. If you can provide cheap labor, you can come back in.
Yeah.
But you have to do it legally through the court systems that we demolished.
There you go. You want to know why I'm very upset with you, or you don't care?
Well, I'm interested. It's not going to make or break my day, probably.
All right, that's fine.
But
I
yeah,
don't want it to make it break. Why I'm upset with you is because I rely on you to be my legal counsel, my political counsel, and help when people are just spreading stupid misinformation, as happened yesterday on the program. When I miss it, I hope that you will at least catch it and say, "Hey, wait a minute." And yesterday, Bear Love was.
Well, okay. When you say Bear Love, I don't pay attention to half the stuff he tweets and stuff because I don't have time to go down those rabbit holes.
Yeah, well, he was in the chat
Right.
room yesterday when I talked about Pam Bondi representing Donald Trump in court. That's unprecedented. The president has his counsel. The DOJ is always supposed to be separate. For 46 or 40, whatever you count Trump's both things, but even Trump had Jeff Sessions, who appointed a special counsel, who knew that the DOJ and the chief executive need to be separate and
right.
So I brought up that, and then Bear Love was bringing up, well, Biden opened the door when he what do you say? Weaponized the DOJ.
I didn't catch it because I stopped reading it. Because here's the deal. This is not a jab at Bear Love. This is a jab at my willingness to pay attention to people who can't focus on one topic and they just keep going and twisting and turning. And no matter what you say, even if you prove them 100% wrong or whatever, they're going to just rotate to something else and keep pivoting and it never ends.
Yeah.
So I won't do it. I won't do it with any living soul that I can think of.
I appreciate that. That's a pretty kind characterization of what Bear does, because he just rambles on. And I personally have gotten some hate mail for allowing Bear on the program.
I've gotten it too. But it wasn't hate mail. It was
not happy with him.
It wasn't hate mail. It was frustrating mail. It was more like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Yeah. I was like, "Sorry."
So I engaged him in this idea of, you're talking about something criminal. Well, this is really not even a criminal case. She's representing him in a policy issue before a district court judge, and he just wanted to go back to Letitia James bringing charges about real estate fraud, mortgage fraud in New York, and that's weaponization of the DOJ. But that's not. There is no, and it didn't occur to me until after the show was over how wrong he had gone, and how he was just spouting Fox News talking points that make no sense. There is absolutely no even evidence, forget about proof, no evidence, no suggestion that Joe Biden went to Letitia James and said, charge Donald Trump. In fact, those charges came around before Donald Trump even entered politics. It was like 2014, and then he was running, and they held up against prosecuting it because he's running for president. Then he was president, and they couldn't prosecute him. And then when he wasn't president anymore, they decided to do it. Biden wasn't in that picture at all. So to say that Joe Biden weaponized the DOJ in that real estate case, that's just total bullshit. And I didn't call him on that. And I was, I need somebody to fucking say,
well, I will apologize. I will at least pay attention to what he's writing.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm probably not going to engage with him anymore. But I just want to set the record straight for people who might give a fuck about this whole conversation. There has never in the history, other than Donald Trump, been a president who has obvious, out in the open, direct contact and direction to the attorney general and telling them what to do and telling them what to do on a daily basis. That's a conflict of interest. Any other president would have been impeached immediately, and they just let him do it without even questioning it. And she comes out and basically tells the world, I'm going to court. We are representing Donald Trump on this policy matter of, what the tariffs and stuff. But again, in a district court, that is conflict of interest, and they don't even try to hide it.
No.
Yeah. So Bela, don't even come at me with it, because I was fucking angry at myself yesterday, walking around like, and then I said, well, what the fuck was GD? Why didn't he fucking smack me and say, hey, wait a minute, you're arguing with them about this. What about the fact that it was never weaponized? And the proof that it was never weaponized is this: if Joe Biden had weaponized the DOJ, Donald Trump would be in prison today instead of in the White House. It took 3 years for Merrick Garland to get off his ass and hire and appoint a special counsel. By then, it was too fucking late.
Right.
So, Merrick Garland just dragged his feet. He wasn't, and you never heard once Biden even mention Garland's name. You hear Trump talking to Bondi through the media every fucking day.
Well, at least through the media. I mean, we know that he's talking to her directly as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm glad to get that off my chest.
Well, I'm glad you got that off your chest. I feel better that you feel better.
I know. And it just so now they're talking about, and we're still talking politics here. I know if that bothers you, whatever. This new thing, part of the Russiagate thing. It's just like, all they do is keep talking about it now. Trey Gowdy, who is a career prosecutor, is trying to calm the people at Fox down and talk them off the ledge about this stuff and say, maybe prosecution and maybe just let history judge it and all that stuff. And he's getting attacked because he knows if you go to court with this stuff, or if you even try to go to court with this stuff, you're going to be humiliated in front of all the base. Let's just say we're going to let them off easy, which is if you're looking for a PR aspect, he's got the right angle here. We'll just claim it, let it be buried, and let the base be angry about it. Because if they go to court, they're going to lose. I mean, there's nothing to this fucking nothing burger out there. So. But
this is what I really wish people understood. Whenever Trump wants to take you to court, he's hoping you'll back down because he has nothing. Okay, I can't think of one court case that he's actually won. I'm trying to think of one that he's won. I mean, there was a decision that kind of went his way. It was more like a cut the baby in half thing. And that was in Pennsylvania about having different people have access to voting, the vote, not the floor, but the room where the votes were counted. Because monitors, because you're allowed to have a monitor, but there's only so close you can be. And they wanted to be like all up in that shit and handle stuff. And they're like, no, you can't touch anything. And so I think they were thrown out because they're like interfering. It's okay, well, you could be in the room, you just can't interfere.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that was like a split the baby in half. But that's it.
There's a lot of perception of cases that he won because people surrendered, like CBS surrendering to a $16 million lawsuit.
And they settled, but they never, that had gone to court, they would have lost. Trump would have lost. Yeah. And because one of the things that Trump never wants to face is discovery.
That's what I'm saying about with this Obama Russiagate thing. That's what they don't, because in 2018 there was, and I shared it on a bunch of social media sites yesterday. Well, this reporter asked Putin directly, with Trump standing right next to him,
right?
Did you want Trump to win? Did you do what you could to help? He said, yes.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So Obama made him say that. I mean, are you going to bring that into court and play that for the judge? Because I don't think
and the weirdest thing is, when Fox ran it, they cut off the question before that about did you want Trump to win, and they made it seem like he was answering a different question.
Yeah.
And they cut off the question, did you want Trump to win? He goes, yes.
Yeah.
And
Carl Mann is here. Carl, I want to say what you're talking about. We're talking about your inner billionaire. You got one? I don't know. First of all, I'm not a woman. Most of the things Debbie talks, most of the audience she's talking about when she wrote the book for is women, and it doesn't really. To me, I would think if you're talking about making money, it shouldn't matter, male, female, whatever. You're making money.
I don't honestly. It can't be the billionaire has to be a metaphor for something else.
No.
Okay, because first of all, because if it's an attitude, then it's not a good metaphor, because billionaires are insecure by nature. That's why they keep striving for that. So what you're trying to find, contact your inner insecurity, and if she's using billionaire as a measure for success, then just say success or your best version of yourself, because billionaire does not mean you're your best version of yourself. Billionaire just means you don't know how to stop trying to prove shit, and you're trying to prove it with money.
Yeah. And listen, I have no. I think you have to have desire to be because I think it is about money. It's the wealth wound. She has the wealth activator thing. She's gonna have a coupon code for people with wealth activation. This thing that's in the banners here.
Wealth activation, activate.
Yeah. DivineWealthActivator.com. Now it's like there's divinity involved here. Now you already lost me.
And it kind of almost sounds like the law of attraction. Now I didn't delve deep into it, but it sounds like it's just another version of the law of attraction.
What I said. It gives me Willie and Zinn vibes when she talks about manifestation, and she's known as the Queen of Magic. So I'm already like, stuff doesn't work on me. I mean, I tried thinking positive and imagining good things happening to me for like 6 months back in the day when I had a girlfriend who was enthralled with the secret and the law of attraction. And I'm like, all right, let's give it a try. And so, I guess if I'm being honest, I didn't fully, because I have to believe it in your core. If you doubt it in any way, you're already sabotaging it. So, but it didn't work for me. I'm not a billionaire, and I don't think I ever will be. Obviously, I know I won't ever be, and I don't care. I'm looking. I live check by check. Where's my fucking check, Carl? I'm sorry, I didn't mean Carl. I mean the other booking agent that is not named Carl.
You mean Ian or Bill or
Biff. Make me a magic pile of money in my house. That would be good. You just sit there and manifest it, Carl. You don't need her. You just think it's gonna show. Money.
Now that's very specific. Yeah. And why does it have to be Saddam's gold? Can it be someone else's gold, or do you think because he's dead he's not gonna want it back?
Fuck gold. It's too heavy. Yeah, you're gonna take a gold bar to the bar with you to buy shots for everybody? No, and I'm definitely not taking a gold bar to Poospatuck and saying, "Give me an ounce of the good stuff."
Okay, because Pentagon money is sexy. Because what's his face? That senator from New Jersey, Menendez. They paid him in gold, and he got in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah. Because he couldn't run away. You can't run away with gold. It's too fucking heavy.
And that's why. Now we're going back to my premise that if you're going to rob a bank, it should be a sperm bank. That way you can get rid of the evidence. if you get caught.
Did you come inside me? Yeah, I mean, wait a minute. Was that a bad thing? I'm not educated. This is my first real. What? I shouldn't have done that. But I should have just had the disclaimer that I shoot blanks anyway. Don't worry about it.
At that age, you were what, 12, 13? No,
I think I was
16.
I would say.
Well, you went to a bar afterwards, so you were what, 18?
Oh, fuck no! I started going to bars when I was 12.
Okay.
Seriously, I mean, because they didn't care. Number one, they didn't care. But no, and you know this, there were no pictures on licenses. Your driver's license was a piece of cardboard that was often frailed and chipped away at. And as long as it had a description that you could close enough match and a birth date on it, you're in. You got fucking.
They check race, height, and weight.
Yeah. Jimmy Moore took me to the Iron Horse Tavern at 12 years old at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was so fucking scared to be in a bar, and there were all these, I can still remember there was a band playing Tommy, the Who's Tommy, feel me, and I was like, yeah, I want to feel you. Is this what adult life is going to be like? I'm ready, but I was also intimidated by it. It was just like, I don't know, it was scary to me. So, but yes, whatever. I don't know what all gold bars and all that stuff. I fuck gold bars. I don't get where that comes from. Just give me my debit card and let me go with that.
I think my youthful theme song when I was in the bar was "Young Lust" by Pink Floyd.
I don't even know that song.
Oh, really?
Wow. What the fuck is wrong with me? Young Lust?
Yeah, that was
what album?
Yeah, when I was my bar hopping days, that was my theme song in my head.
Where does that come from? That's not like The Wall, right? No.
I don't know what album it's from. I just know the refrain is "Ooh, I need a dirty woman. Ooh, I need a dirty girl."
Wow.
Yeah.
Carl, you know that song?
Of course he does. He probably sings it to his wife.
It's but Carl seems to be obsessed with gold, the Pentagon gold. He's coming back to you know what, Carl? I don't know if you know about this, but I was talking to GD about it the other day. There is a month-old conspiracy theory or a video that came out, and I should share the link about the fifth plane, Flight 23, United Flight 23. It's a compelling, almost hour-long mini documentary on with the people who were on the plane, the crew that were on the plane, and some of the United people who are absolutely convinced that they were on a fifth plane that was supposed to take off. There were some delay issues. Runway at JFK was clogged up, and they didn't get to take off. And by the time they were ready to take off, the second plane had hit, and then they got alerts and were closing down the airport and all that stuff. So they evacuated the plane. But they were certain that there were 4 hijackers on there, which is compelling, which is interesting. But it's also why it took 24 years to anybody to speak about this thing is bizarre. But I think you would find it interesting. If you're interested, obviously Carl is still interested in 9/11. Be like when we were 30 or something, somebody coming out with, by the way, Pearl Harbor, there were like 4 other jets that got away or something. 4 other Japanese fighters that got away or something. Well, why didn't we hear about them till now?
Now, Matt, I'm just going to read the lyrics to "Young Lust." At least it's very short. The lyrics are very short.
I keep hearing Rod Stewart, "Young Love,"
young heart,
young heart, be free.
Okay, it goes. This is the lyrics. I am just a new boy, a stranger in this town. Where are all the good times? Who's going to show this stranger around? Ooh, I need a dirty woman. Ooh, I need a dirty girl.
Oh, yeah, I know
Will
that.
some woman in this desert land make me feel like a real man? Take this rock and roll refugee. Ooh, baby, set me free. Ooh, I need a dirty woman. Ooh, I need a dirty girl.
It doesn't sound like typical Pink Floyd, though, right? Because I remember this song, but I never realized it was Pink Floyd.
That was like my, when I don't know, that was like my young anthem in my head.
Everybody. See, this is a Long Island Guido thing. So, and it should be a Carl thing because Carl is he's local to. Thin Lizzy, The Boys Are Back in Town was every young Guinea on Long Island. Everybody, I don't know, that meant something. The boys are back in the because drinks will spill and blood will spill or whatever.
Yeah, the drinks will flow and the blood will spill.
Blood will flow, and the boys want to fight. You better let them. Yeah. What do you?
Yeah, I remember that song, and I did like to sing it and play it and stuff. But as far as like an anthem in my head, at least when I was like bar hopping age, that was my theme song in my head. That was
yeah. Ian's in the room. Hello, Ian, Mr. Evil Ian. What did Ian send me last night that
he sent you a picture of some woman he used to know before. They were.
Oh no, it was Dave Landau. An AI. I think it's an AI generated image. Landau does a lot of it, and Ian hates Landau. I don't know why he hates him so much, but Landau posts for every gig he does. It's like a silly Photoshop thing of his face on somebody else, and he sent me this thing. It's kind of like a Beetlejuice thing of his promo for Side Splitters, but. Brain dead boomers or right wing retards. He wants to know who goes. I think Landau's a good joke writer. I do. I think, you know what, if you can separate him from the fact of the people who he aligns himself with, the Anthony Cumias and all these right wing guys Glenn Beck even. He does associate with those, but when you get him one-on-one, because I got the impression he was definitely at least a centrist, maybe even left-leaning. Steven Crowder also he was associated with, so that's a trifecta from right-wing hell. But he admitted to me that he definitely is more center or even a little bit left, and I said, it's just hard to figure out why you associate with it. It's a career move. Money, and he wouldn't be the first one to sell out his values and principles to be successful.
Matt, I think it's Carl asking to get on the show because he says link me up for $5. I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that's what he means. So let me for $5. I don't have $5, but I will see.
I know if he meant for 5 minutes or for because this show is like for 5 o'clock. It's like that's 5 o'clock your time.
I'm just playing off my inner $5, my inner $5-ness. Okay, I'm coming over to Twitter to link you up for 5, Carl. Link you up for 5 calls.
For 5K.
Yeah, I have an inner $5. I don't even have an outer $5. This guy. Have you ever met an honest booking agent? Well.
I'm
not talking out there again for people who have, and there are people.
Yes. Okay. They're not. They didn't represent me. They did. They booked for their own company. They booked for their own venues.
Yeah.
And so I have met one very honest one. Her name was Michelle Carnes. As a matter of fact, she ran her company so well that I wanted to be around her so I could pick her brain, so I could learn what she does. I wanted to learn from her because she was like the best I could think of.
Dr. Seidman used to make me pick brains all the time, and that was not fun. She giggled. Dr. Seidman was, and I'm not slandering you, Dr. Seidman. Don't sue me, please. She was very fun to work with, but she giggled when we were slicing up brains, and it was like I was cutting deli meat. And every
be thin because you have to. Yeah, it has to be thin enough.
Yeah, like you want to try a piece. But I mean, she was literally giddy every time we got a brain. She was so passionate and excited about brain dissection that she literally giggled with every slice, and it's very weird. He goes with the grift, absolutely. You know what? But I have forgiveness for people. It depends on how much of your soul you sell. Like Caroline Levitt, who was standing next to Trump, as he's bold-faced lying about the Democrats making up his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein and all this stuff. And she's sitting there looking at him, and she's like touching her cross, trying to like, oh, Jesus, save me and all this. But she's willing to sell out her soul to that extent. I have a harder time forgiving that. But a guy who does will go on radio shows or podcast with right-wingers because he knows that will help his career, like Landau. I find that easy to forgive. I mean, yeah, you're just trying to make a way for yourself. You're trying to support your family and not have to go work a day job. You want to keep the money coming in to support you doing what you love. That's hard to say no to. It's a whole it's a whole different level than lying to the entire world about crimes and fucking children and stuff, like the way Caroline Levitt does it. And she just holds it. You're a good Christian. You're a good Christian. Sometimes Jesus uses bad people to do good things. That's what they tell themselves. You're familiar with that line, right? Sometimes God will use bad people to do.
That's
yeah.
I just got a phone call. They left a message, and then they sent me a text. They being Sweetwater. You familiar with Sweetwater, the company
I love Sweetwater. They're the best online guitar and musical instrument thing, but their guitars come pre-set up, not like Guitar Center. You get it and you buy a new guitar, they send it to you, then you have to go to a luthier and say, set it up for me. Sweetwater does it perfectly every time. They're really good.
They just sent me a text. They called me and left a message because I didn't pick it up, and then they sent me a text letting me know that they left a message, and that my order was on the way and I should receive it shortly. And if I have any questions, to give them a call. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, I love you guys. That's not what I wrote. I just said thank you. I can't wait to use it. And
do we just expose you in a lie here? Do we? Because I could swear. Now you can defend this if you like. I could swear you told me that you don't buy online. You always go to the store.
If what I want's available in the store, I go there first. And I did. I went to the stores first. I went to Brick and Mortar. Yeah. I did. I spent several days going to brick and mortar, Rick and Morty stores.
Well, if it counts for anything, you went to the right online store, the best one out there. Why are you a sponsor, Sweetwater? Where are you? They're not here.
Because at first I did my research. Well, first I was trying to do my research, and I was setting up something in my basement. I was trying to do something, and with the equipment that I have, I could not do it the way I wanted to do it without creating all of these extra steps. I said, no, I want to make it as simple as possible so I can set up, break down, and not have to break out like 19th century technology with something to interface it and then make it go to my computer. I don't want that. I want like, bam, it's it. So once I did that and I realized what I needed, I went online, said, what is it I need? Okay, I need one of these. And then I went to try to find it in stores, and nobody had it in stores.
What is it? You don't want to say. It was a... look, we got a Carl Man. We just delivered from Sweetwater a Carl Man that I ordered. They had it in stock, believe it or not. Good morning.
There's no point in me taking a screenshot of today's one because you've both got the same fucking clothes on in my background.
Wow. That's funny.
Right?
I think
so.
So.
Carl, how much you pay attention. I always wear the same clothes.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I have like 40 of these shirts.
Generally, I don't. I have 2 of these, but I don't recycle the black short sleeve shirt twice in a week. But I did this week because I wanted to have a collar on when the inner billionaire comes on. And
this is yesterday. Sorry for interrupting.
Wow, no problem. And I stand corrected. I don't always wear this shirt because sometimes, like I said, I have 6 of these, and if I forget to do laundry, then I have to wear one of the old versions.
That's not this. If this was yesterday for me, that was a black T-shirt. Last time I had a black college shirt on was, I think, Monday.
Yeah, whenever that day was.
Yeah, but it looks similar. Black is black. You're gonna want my baby back. Carl, you do you have an inner billionaire? Can you bring it out?
An inner billion? I wish. I mean, I don't know because
you wish.
Yeah, pop it back in. Who cares?
Because would you like yourself when you want to kill? I don't think of a billionaire that you like. And GD brought up Warren Buffett. Maybe, but any other billionaires that it might be a decent guy, like a decent person.
No,
I wouldn't like myself. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be Elon Musk. Yeah,
you get corrupt by the time you're Bill Gates and your fucking kids and taking over farms and all that. You're kind of corrupted already, so you don't even realize that you're bad. You're like, this is just normal. I'm helping the world.
Right.
So, Carl, this is my question for you.
Yes,
now,
sir.
When I was my bar hopping days, in my head, my theme song was "Young Lust" by Pink Floyd. I think, if I understand correctly, Matt's bar hopping days, I think the song in his head was "The Boys Are Back in Town,"
which is from this city.
Yeah.
So, when you think of your bar hopping days, what's your theme song?
I mean, in my bar hopping days were a long, long period. So
it's still going on. It just ended 2 weeks ago.
I could pick 10 years of probably. I don't know. I mean, the first thing I'm thinking of is something like the Libertines, but you might not know who they are. But just because I think of chaotic times. But yeah, I mean, a lot of British rock. I mean, the Jam, but that wasn't out at the time. That was 20 years earlier. But we had a jukebox in this bar, one of the last jukeboxes, and we used to put that sort of shit on. So that something by the Jam, Going Underground, or Libertines, that sort of stuff. But yeah, all the Boys Are Back in Town. I was probably listening to that too when I was bar hopping.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, but what's like a theme song? The thing that, in other words, this is the thought I'm having, or these are the feelings I'm having. What define? It's okay. It's the closest thing that defined what you were thinking, and what's going through your head.
Cigarettes and Alcohol by Oasis, all rock and roll style, probably. Like
Ian Drury, sex and drugs and rock and roll. Don't.
It's Cigarettes and Alcohol is just there's nothing worth. I think the lyrics are there's nothing worth working for, and just encouraging hedonism, basically. So that probably that was my early 20s.
Ian says in the tubes after midnight. No,
in the tube station after midnight, down in the tube station after midnight, he means, which is also a classic.
Yeah. Because before Thin Lizzy and Boys Are Back in Town, White Punks on Dope by the.
Oh, I love that. I love that song. I love that song to this day. I had the live version that I listened to.
I think it was About Me. I was a white punk on dope. That's why I felt like.
Well, I think the Boys Are Back in Town was. There's a few boroughs down here, like where Oasis are from and that. But I think maybe Levenshulme, someone owned a pub, and it was Phil Lynnett's stepdad or stepmom that owned the pub. And the boys were the Quality Street gang, who are now all dead, but one of them was still hanging on. They were old school local gangsters.
Yeah.
Who would go out robbing fucking diamond stores and, doing a bit of protection rackets and stuff. And the Boys Were Back in Town was about a time when they all came back from somewhere, prison or doing something, and they came in. So it was like the boys back.
Yeah. Phil Lynott is how do you say it? Lynott?
I don't know. It's pronounced. I said Lynott, but it could be Lynott.
Yeah. And the reason people don't know how to pronounce his name is because he's so under-celebrated as one of the greatest.
He was a good bass player and a good vocalist.
Yeah, and unique in his writing style. I mean, for his short time in the spotlight, came out with some really, really influential and great stuff. And so, what did he die of? Heroin abuse or something?
Blackness. I don't know.
He was bringing that average down. That average life expectancy. That's his fault.
Yeah. All right. Well. So the whole thing about GD, I don't know if you caught this part. GD in the middle of the night. Well, in the middle of the night is when I saw it. He probably sent it earlier. He has a friend who transitioned, and the picture is kind of supposed to be like a sexualized whatever photo. And I looked at it and like, why? He says I knew her when she was a he or something. And I was like, why are you sending me into? I'm not going to get back to sleep at night. And now I looked at the face because it looks like a guy I used to know and hang out with, and now I can't get that out of my mind. Now, if I ever see him again, all I'm going to see is him in this red dress.
How old would he be? Would he be in his 30s now?
No, he would be 55 or so.
Well, Lynette died in 85, so he collapsed due to booze and drugs and got septicemia. So that was the rock and roll end.
Wow. Does it say how he died? What he died of?
Yeah, septicemia. So he collapsed due to boozing and drugs, and then died on a ventilator in a fucking hospital afterwards.
What a waste. I mean,
it's rock and roll.
Yeah, I know it is, but by the time he did it, enough people had just died. How old was he? Did it say how old he was?
Actually, he was like 36, so it's pretty old.
36. Wow.
Yeah.
That's ancient in rock and roll. That was ancient back then in rock and roll.
27 was the magic number, wasn't it?
Yeah, 27. The 27 Club. Kurt Cobain, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin.
He probably thought he was safe. He probably thought, okay, I've made it past the 27. I'm good.
So he was like late 20s when they got going. Oh no, maybe like. Yeah, no, he was 20 when they got going, formed the band.
Yeah.
So probably like mid 20s when they got famous or whatever. But I have no idea.
Guest is here. Do you want to hang out?
No, do you know what? I'm eating a pizza, which is currently on a mic anyway, and I've got to go and meet a friend from London town.
All right. Well,
so who makes the best pizza? Who makes the best pizza right now? Or did you make that yourself? I can't tell.
This is the frozen Goodfellas pizza. This is nothing good, but I did tip chili flakes on it.
You know, on Twitter the other day, somebody was talking about New York pizza gets all this, because you know this for a fact that I was bragging about New York pizza, and then when you were here in New York, we went to the worst pizza place in Manhattan.
Second worst, because I'd already had one worse, so for me it was okay.
But I feel like New York has been oversaturated with pizza places.
Yeah, but I think there's still a good tour. There's still some gems from what I read, and I do read a lot about pizza.
Yeah,
it's just that they get overrun by tourist traps, and
this is the problem with anything. It's like comedy; it's oversaturated. There's too many people who
because pizza is relatively simple. On paper it's simple, and so people look at pizza places like they look at comedies. Like, oh, I can do that. I've been to a pizza place. I can throw dough in the air. I can throw cheese and sauce on it, and pop it in the oven. And you look at pizza is the comedy of food.
That's true. My wife has got this new thing about bringing me home the ingredients to make a homemade pizza. Like it's already pre-made dough, like in the thing, and you just spread it out. You don't, whatever you have. What do you make your dough? I don't even know.
They sell pizza kits here for schools and stuff. It's like it's like a pizza kit, and they send you all the stuff, and you just put it together and.
I ruin it. The fact that they say it's so simple, nobody can make them. I figure out a way to ruin it. I'm just so I try to tell it, give up on that. I mean, stop, because it's not gonna, just can't happen. I'm not gonna get it right. So stop doing it.
Stop it, indeed. Stop putting your penis on it. Get your guest in.
Okay. Thanks for stopping in, and have a great weekend, man.
Yeah, bye.
Oh, well, I cooked. What is our
guest is gone.
Oh, she'll be back. We just let go call too soon. She'll be back in a few minutes. Anyway, yes. I mean, I was about. Now what do we do?
Well, we could play the news. It's 10:03. Right. I wasn't listening to it the first time it went through.
Yeah, there's nothing real in the news.
They was talking about some guy who was a Canadian guy who killed their kid in New York or something.
Yeah, and his kid.
I didn't hear about that on the regular news.
Oh, we've had New York in particular has had some really crazy stories lately. Guys being found they found the guy on a front lawn dead, with a trail of blood leading down the street, but there's no indication of what actually happened. But he was walking around the neighborhood, just bleeding all over the place. And the guy came home and just found the body under a bush in his front yard. Another guy came home. There was a strange car in his driveway. And it turned out the car was stolen from upstate New York, driven to his driveway here on Long Island. And they found the dude asleep in his backyard. Like, just wrap your head around this. I steal a car. I drive it 300 miles, let's say, and pull it into a driveway. Not like, don't park it on the street. Just a random house that you're not even familiar with. Pull in the driveway. Walk into the backyard, and then also keep in mind that it was raining this night, and I go to sleep in the middle of his backyard in the rain.
Okay, I have a theory. I have a very plausible theory about that.
Go ahead.
I don't know if the car was stolen or not. Don't care. My guess is that the guy was either tired or maybe a little tipsy or a little stoned. Not okay, but he drove to a house he thought he knew. Like maybe he used to live there or he used to date somebody who lived there. Something like, because I don't know if you've ever done this, but like I have been in a situation where I've driven to the wrong house, like driven to an ex's house out of just sheer habit. I wasn't thinking, I'm just listening to the radio and my brain is just like taking me someplace it knows. And I look up and I'm like, oh shit, I don't live here anymore. And then I have to leave. That's happened to me where I've drawn, that's happened to me where I've driven. You're laughing. I don't know if you're laughing because this happened to you and you remember,
no,
or you're laughing because it's like you're a fucking idiot.
No, but I'm laughing because one of my favorite Bare Naked Lady songs is "The Old Apartment," and it's about a guy going to his old apartment and I don't live here anymore. And I always thought that's such an implausible scenario. Nobody would ever go.
It has happened to me 3 times in my life. 3 times it's happened, and each time it was a place I used to live, or I used to date someone there. And I'm just listening to the music, and like maybe the song triggered it or something, and I just drove. And next thing I look up, but I never went in the house. I caught myself like, oh shit, and then I just drove. I hope they didn't see me because I look like a stalker, So it's possible that guy had a history with that house or a house very similar to it in that block, and he's like, I'm here, and then knocks on the door. Nobody answers. I'll walk around back.
Good knock effect you have.
Thank you. And he walks around back, and he's like, nobody's home. And he says, I'll wait. And he just falls asleep. But he doesn't realize he's going to fall asleep. He probably planned on going back to his car, but he's like, I'll just wait. And his brain says, okay, this is a good spot, and that's it.
Yeah, but to go into the backyard. And
I say he probably didn't get, he knocked. He said, I'll go around back because maybe that was the way they used to do it. Sometimes they're in the back of the house. We don't, like I said, I'm just speaking from something that feels like experience.
I would go sit in the car and wait.
But I'm saying he may not have made it back to the car to wait. He goes around back. They're not around back. Like maybe they used to sit out back and make s'mores or something, and they didn't hear the door. They sit out back and drink beer. Don't know. But he goes around back looking for whoever. And they're like, oh shit. And he still doesn't know he has the wrong house yet. He goes, I'll go back and sit in the car. But he's so stoned, he's bam, there.
The problem is they never follow up with these news stories. They give you this story and you don't know how it resolves itself. And that's like a story that just is a cliffhanger for the rest of your life.
Well,
I
wouldn't be surprised if my version of my account of that is what happened. I wouldn't be surprised.
I probably wouldn't be shocked at this point either, but I want to know for sure. I think it's for news people, if you're in the news business, and I know obviously Al isn't in the news business, it's your responsibility. You can't just leave us hanging like that. You got to come back with the answer.
There was one news story that I've wanted to know this. Matter of fact, I wound up doing research myself to find out about it. This was during Katrina, and there's this old black guy they're talking to, and you could hear the pain in his voice. You could hear the pain in his voice, and they were floating. He was on top of whatever it is they were floating on. He was holding on to his wife, and he was holding on to his kids, and he was losing his strength. He was held on as much as he could, And his wife said to him, "Let me go, save the kids." And he says, "I can't let you go. I'm not letting you go." And then the news person says, "Where's your wife?" And he says, just like this, he goes, "She gone."
Oh.
And that, I mean, right there, just, the kids are okay because she gone. And that, and her, I mean, to this day, I feel like crying because just you could hear the pain in his voice because he had her in his hands, and he had to, and he knew he couldn't keep them. He couldn't keep them all safe. And she's like, "Let me go, save the kids." Now I don't know if he let her go, or if he just lost his strength, or if she don't know.
Feels like the end of Titanic to me a little bit.
Yeah, but he just said, but and I kept thinking they should, you don't know that she didn't drift off and then get caught on something and get saved or anything, and that's what I want to find out. Was she miraculously saved and he just didn't know it yet? But she gone.
I think that Titanic thing was based on a true story, the unsinkable Molly Brown. I think that was
right. Yeah.
Yeah. The house thing. I probably have told this story before, a bit if I had, but I was in a relationship. It was like we were married, but we never officially got married. And I was living with this woman.
Okay, so this is the one at your father's deathbed. Okay, so we know
no.
we know who it's not.
This is later in life. This is like right around in the late 90s. We were living. I bought a house from my mom when she moved. They were going to take her house, I bought it from her and put her up in a condo and stuff. And then I had her house, and then we were driving to her brother's house, and we passed this old money pit, this old colonial, totally, Queen Elizabethan kind of house, and I said, "Wow, what a beautiful house that was at one time." It was like 150 years old, abandoned. And it had I got out and I looked, and it had a number to call. And I called the guy. It took me like 3 months to get in touch with the guy. He sold it to me. It was in total ridiculously bad condition. Sold it to me for $100,000. And we rebuilt it. It was a money pit. I probably invested $200,000-$300,000 in it. But by the time we were done, we were getting offers of $2 million for it. It was on 4 acres. It was gigantic, colonial. It was beautiful. More bedrooms than we knew what to do with. Like a living room that was literally 100-foot long and 40 feet wide. The living room, gigantic fucking house. And then playing with the band, there was a young girl who was flirting with me, and I decided, I'm in my mid 40s or early 40s, and I'm thinking, and this is the young hot girl, and she's into me. I'm gonna fuck up my whole life just to get one more shot at being with a young, beautiful girl. And I left, and I gave that woman that house. And I walked away from it. It's yours. Signed it over to her after I built it up. Now it's worth like $2 million from $100,000 investment. Well, to be fair, probably $400,000 total investment with rebuilding it all. But walked away from this gigantic. But I love that house. I love that house definitely more than I love the girl that I ended up being with for 6 months and then breaking up with her and thinking, "Oh my God!" And I still sometimes drive past that house and just because I know she sold it and got rich and moved back to her parents' house and now she's just living off that money. And I feel like, what a fucking mistake. But I drive past that house and my heart breaks every time. Like, what? Why did I leave that house? Of course, I wouldn't have met my current wife, but
you just there's something. When I was younger, my wife and I bought the house next door to me. The developers are trying to buy up the whole neighborhood. And so they were trying to squeeze me out. They brought everything to the right of my house. Now they're trying to buy the property to the left of my house. And they didn't make me an offer. They were trying to just squeeze me out. The only thing is that I was the only black person in the neighborhood. Okay. So, it's like we'll offer the white people money, and then the Negro, he's just going to get pressured. We're just going to steal it from him because he's just not going to want to be surrounded by all this development. And so as a preemptive strike, I bought the house next door. My wife and I bought the house next door. And I let my sister live there subsidized. I subsidized it so that my sister could live there. I was losing money every month that my sister lived there. My nephew, her son, did the same thing for my mother. He bought a condo and he let my mother live in his condo at a subsidized rate. He was losing money every month, so that my mother, so we were taking care of each other's mothers. I didn't even realize, that connection, I just made that connection just now when you was talking about your mom's house.
Yeah.
That my nephew and I were taking care of each other's moms, not our own moms. Neither one of us wanted to take care of our own mother. We were taking care of the other one's mother. And that was not by design. We didn't plan it like that.
I can't have any regrets about money I left on the table or threw away or burned foolishly. Because if I do, it's my doom. I mean, if I just think about that stuff, we got to bring Debbie Dobbins in before she runs away again and thinks it's another hour. That's it. Whatever. Let me introduce her. Our guest today is a powerhouse of transformation. And when I say that, I don't mean like the photo that GD sent me in the middle of the night. Debbie Dobbins, also known as the Queen of Magic, has lived many lives. Millionaire businesswoman, cancer thriver. That's more than a survivor, a thriver, spiritual teacher, and now best-selling author of Your Inner Billionaire. She's here with us now, ladies and gentlemen. Say hello to Debbie Dobbins. Good morning, Debbie.
Hello.
I'm assuming you're in the Central Time Zone because you said 9:15 in the private chat, and it's like 9:15 was an hour ago. You're in Central Time.
Oh, yeah, well, exactly.
All right. Good morning.
I'm not used to doing off the the hour, and so I thought, oh God, I feel like I've come into a private boys club, and I thought, well, I better get out of here for a minute. And so,
we were about to introduce.
We were about to introduce
you, and then I know. Oh, well, she's gone. Damn it. But thank you for being here. You are correct in the sense that I know most of your audience or the people you cater your message to are women, and that's a very small segment of my audience. We're about 85% male, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure what we're going to say is going to resonate with everybody in the audience. But listen, everybody wants to be a billionaire except me, right? So
I don't desire to be a billionaire.
Oh, so me and him.
I see, and I actually have I question the. Well, you go ahead.
No, your first. I think I know what your question is going to be. The meaning of the book, because we were talking about the meaning of the book, and GD assumes that it's a metaphor or an analogy. But I'm of the opinion that the meaning of the book, Your Inner Billionaire, is very straightforward. Talking about $1 billion, right?
No.
Oh, so well, he's right and I'm wrong.
You cut the word out, inner billionaire. Right. So honestly, when I started writing the book, working title was Your Inner Millionaire. And I'm like, anybody can be a millionaire. What's the point of that? And,
no, not anybody can be.
What?
I said, no, not anybody can be. This is America. This isn't communist China.
Yeah.
Anybody can be a millionaire. Anybody can be a billionaire if they want to. That's the whole point of it, is that it's all about your decision, your money stories that keep you stuck wherever you are. And so I chose billionaire because literally it's a trigger word. And I didn't realize it was going to be as big of a trigger word as it is after January 1st. But the fact of the matter is that I also am very spiritual, very in tune with my intuition and my higher wisdom. And so I didn't come up with that title. It came up with that title for me. And it really truly is about everything that we feel, think, believe, act, do to create our own experience. It's a wealth frequency. This book is a portal to actually uncovering, because every single person on the planet has an inner billionaire. It's just that we are the only things that keep us from receiving the things that we say that we desire. Everybody has that same issue if they're not allowing that wealth to be part of their life. And it isn't about the billions of dollars in the bank account. It's about how you feel if you believed that you could be whatever you want, be, do, or have whoever you want to be. So truly, it's not about anybody saying I can't, because that is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I will take issue with the fact that anybody can be a billionaire if they choose. Anybody can be a millionaire. You can have whatever you want, but it's our own selves that keep us stuck.
I have a negative connotation. First of all, I wouldn't say I think you're right or you're wrong. I would say that I don't have the desire, and that definitely is part of my own condition of not having that enormous wealth. And I made a lot of mistakes about money that I burnt, and we were discussing this before you came on. Is like I don't have any regrets about that. It's part of the journey I'm on. But I do have this idea that money is like a drug. It's an addiction. And when you use the term billionaire, I think of the billionaires that are in my mind, the public persona billionaires. And GD came up with the number 813, I guess, in the world.
No,
But
in the country.
Okay.
Yes.
I can't think of one that demonstrates the kind of person I would want to be. It feels like an addiction to money is just as bad as an addiction to heroin or anything else negative we could put in. Do you have any of that kind of, does that resonate with you in any way?
So what I would say to all of those statements are, those are money stories. Those are your beliefs around money, because money is just a frequency, and it doesn't mean that you have to have $1 billion in the bank. I have met the happiest people on the planet that some people would perceive as broke. I've been broke, and I don't have a difference between being broke and being wealthy, in my mindset, in my knowingness, in my belief system. So the fact of the matter is that if you've got a resistance and you want to label money a certain way, other than it's just a frequency, it's just an energy source, then that's when we get into a problem, because people have all of these stories around money. So you have a story around billionaires. This is what's floating around out in the zeitgeist at this point, is that billionaires are bad. And the fact is that that's not the issue. It's not the issue. It's what does the money mean to me personally? How do I reflect the energy? And so you can read the book, but the book is basically that money is the most important relationship in our life, because it is a reflection of consciousness. It is a reflection of the consciousness that each one of us has about how we know, like, or trust our experience in life. And so when we play this victim, poverty, lack card in our belief systems, we get to reflect that right back to us. So if we practice prosperity consciousness, prosperity frequency, prosperity expectation, we will get what we desire. I'm not saying that everyone has to be a billionaire. That's not the purpose of the book. The title is there to trigger people and to say, what does that mean? What's inside of that book? Because once you get into the book, you begin to see why you believe the way that you believe. And what I know is that most people don't question their beliefs. They just get on a track and they stay on the track, and then they never get off the track, and they don't explore any other belief other than the ones that they've downloaded, generally speaking, in their primary years. So it's very transformative if you really want to see your life be better. So maybe your life is perfect the way that it is. This book probably wouldn't matter to you. The fact is I doubt that seriously, because most people are angry today.
Yeah. Well, I there's a bunch of things in there. First of all, I don't think I consider all billionaires bad people. I just noticed the behavior that it's never enough. Like if I look at Elon Musk with $405 billion and he still needs more, to me that feels like he's trapped by this using money as a goalpost, whatever it means to him. But he's trapped in that the same way I would be if I had any other addiction, trapped in that mindset of it's never enough and never satisfied.
But that's one person. That's one person. So you can't model your whole belief system about, let's just use billionaire as the example, or millionaire, around one person. And it isn't about what other people are doing. It's about what we're doing individually with our lives to create the prosperity, the wealth, the abundance. And that isn't monetarily always. It's about how you feel every day when you get up.
But you're talking about human beings, and human beings have, for centuries, base their belief systems on one person. You look at Christianity, it's Jesus. You look at Islam, it's Muhammad. You look at Buddhism, it's Siddhartha. If you look at Judaism, it's Moses for the most part. So yeah, they're going to look at one person as it's one of the things. It seems that one of the things that this theory is, or this school of thought is missing, is that you're talking about tapping into the universe, or basically tapping into the universe and attracting or finding that wealth within yourself. One of the things that most people, at least most people who are into the universe as an entity, I guess, or as an energy source, they believe that you have lessons to learn in this life. You know, that's one of the things. You go through this life and you learn lessons. And so it's almost like you're seeing, like you're bypassing the lessons, because if your lesson does not require you to be a millionaire, but to suffer so that you can learn for the next life, in this life, you will not find that happiness because your lesson requires you to suffer. I'm just saying, in some schools of thought. So I don't think those people.
Once again, though, that's a school of thought. That's a belief. That's a story. So
yeah, but it's just as valid as any other belief, or it's just as valid as any other theory or thought, or you know.
Well, the Buddha says that all life is suffering.
Yes.
Right. Why is it the Buddha says that though? Buddha says
because of want, people desire, and because
they're masochists.
Right. So that's not what this book is about. Is not about wants. It's about your desire to be happy, joyous, and free. Right. So I explain the idea behind money is just a concept. Money is just a symbol, literally.
Right.
So yeah, if Elon Musk is chasing money, I mean, I watched a documentary on Justin Bieber. I was probably about 3 weeks ago, and all they could talk about was that he made between $1.5 billion and $500 million and $1 billion. But he's the most unhappy person on the world. I'm not talking about using examples of billionaires. I'm using the example of the idea of a billionaire just as an idea that will allow people to say, well, what is that about? What can I learn from that? So if you read the book, you'll understand that it isn't about having $1 billion. It's about having the freedom. It's about having the self-knowingness. It's also about having the idea of value and worth for yourself, that you then go out and you experience that in life, because nothing is happening to us. Nothing on this planet is happening to us. I agree. We all come in here. I've been through multiple challenges. I've been a crack addict. I've owed the IRS $500,000, and I've experienced cancer, like really serious cancer. And the fact is that I know that all of those were learning experiences, but I never forgot that this was all of my own choosing and making at every stage of that place. Whether it was when I came into this world and I decided at the bus stop when I raised my hand and said, that's what I'm coming in to experience, or it just was something that I felt like I needed to experience on the 3D planet. But everything on the 3D planet is a reflection of our energy and our frequency within us, every single bit of it. So if you recognize that, then whatever you're going through as your learning experience, you don't have to stay in it. You don't have to be suffering literally all your life. You get to say, oh my gosh, I now know the secret to the universe. This is how I can go. And at the same time, shit happens. I say shift happens, but for your
no, you can say
you guys use that word all the time.
You can say just about anything you want.
So the fact of the matter is that we get an opportunity, if we choose, to remember, to wake up to the fact that we are individualized expressions of this consciousness. I don't even want to say God, because the fact is that people have all these constructs around God. They have constructs around money. They have stories that they tell themselves. And the fact is that there is nothing good and there is nothing bad. It's our beingness, our belief system that makes it so. So if we begin with that premise, what am I making bad in my life? Oh, maybe I could choose a different path. What am I making good in my life? Oh, well, that's fantastic. I want more of that. So the fact is that, yes, there is all this construct going on. And frankly, we've been working under a masculine construct for 2,000 years that says go hard, drive. This is the only way to be successful. And what's emerging on the planet right now is more feminine energy, which is really tapped into your intuition and your knowingness that you can be, do, or have whatever you want. And when you combine those two, that masculine and feminine energy together in a human person, it's like you can just have anything you want. But people like Elon, I'm not here to talk about Elon Musk, but the fact of the matter is whatever your observation of him is going to be a reflection of all the stuff and stories that you brought through for your whole life. Yeah. It isn't about one person. It's like, why does that person trigger me?
Understood. And we have that. Let me just clarify. I was just using him as an example that is very prevalent that people can know. But all we have are references that we are shown and we know about. And I could have named Bill Gates. I could have named Jeff Bezos. All these people who are endlessly chasing more. And there are lots of them. And the only people I know, wealthy people, seem to become addicted to money and wealth. And whether they start out by just a measuring stick of their own prosperity or their own success or whatever they become in some way, or at least every single one that I've known, and I know some personally who are multi-millionaires, always chasing more money, like it's never enough. And that to me feels like an addiction. It could be that you mentioned you've had addiction issues. That feels like you're always chasing that high that you can never get to, and it feels just as self-destructive as an addiction.
And just as many examples of that, there's what I looked up recently. I thought it was 747 billionaires in the US, but the fact is that if that is the case with one person, just like every other story that we tell ourselves, there's another example that will turn that on its ear. So it's not about what other people are doing ever. Never. Just like
I would like to see that one example, because I'm not trying to make it about one person. I have many examples of that behavior where it feels like an addiction to money, and I have no clear examples in my life of anybody who is wealthy and not chasing more, not constantly chasing more. And if you have any, I would love to see them. I mean, that was to change. You talk about questioning our beliefs. I would love to have an example.
Warren Buffett doesn't strike me as somebody that's chasing money with an addiction.
Somebody mentioned Buffett this morning, and I don't know enough about
that was Moa.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
How could you forget me so soon?
There's just as many examples of people that are addicted to poverty, literally. So it's not about the money, the symbol. It isn't. And it isn't about those people in that experience. It's about just looking at your life and saying, if you're unhappy, and so basically it's talking to the people that are unhappy with their lives because they don't feel like they have enough. And you could not have enough, as I just talked about Justin Bieber. You can have plenty and still not have enough. You can have a lot and not have enough, and you can have a little and not have enough, or reverse. You can be the happiest person on the planet. Some of the happiest people I've ever seen is when I've traveled the world to a third world country and I see people living in shacks that are built on dirt and their kids are out playing ball with rocks. They're happy people. So the fact is it has nothing to do with the money. It has nothing to do with the money. It has to do with your own self-worth and what you're willing to accept. So the people I'm speaking to are not the billionaires. Obviously, they already have $1 billion. It's about the people that don't have what they say they desire in life. And that is, when I talk about prosperity and wealth, it's about your health. It's about your environment. It's about your relationships. So are you excelling in all of those areas, or are you lacking in all of those areas? And most people cannot say that they're happy at this point in time. I meet so many people that are unhappy with their financial life, with their health life, with their relationship life, with their work life. And all of that is part of that inner billionaire story. If you really improve or acknowledge that you're an inner billionaire, you will begin to live your life differently, and you will begin to receive the things that you say you desire. And it's very spiritual. It's very based on consciousness. It isn't based on what we perceive this world, because we have been told a lie with that outside the reality is something that I have no control over. It's all inside. We have control over one thing and one thing only. That is our own experience. And if we don't accept that and begin to live from that place, then, we're just going to be pointing fingers everywhere.
I just assumed that the book was that the term billionaire was a metaphor. It's just that when I'm at peace, the last thing I think of is a billionaire. When I'm at peace, I feel an inner divinity, if anything. And so, and I think a billionaire, which is totally the opposite of a billionaire. I'm not trying to grab more. I'm existing and just loving what I have right then and there. It's not, so that's what I was thinking. I was just thinking that as far as a symbol goes, I think a billionaire is like a god awful symbol because I think billionaires are miserable people.
Exactly. But do you see why I apparently got the message from my inner wisdom to name it that? Because it's a trigger, like literally. It's a trigger for some people in good and a trigger for some people is bad. And I will tell you that has been my role in life, is to be a trigger. Like, I don't know why the universe, God, Yahweh, whoever it was, gave me that beautiful gift that I will trigger people as soon as I walk in a room sometimes.
Okay, you can't say that word. You can't say trigger on this show. You have to say trigger. You have to use trigger. Yeah, you can't. We try desperately hard on this show to avoid all the ERs.
You notice it's an old boys club, and I would be remiss if I didn't at least put have you ever ridden Roy Rogers? But that's a whole other. But yeah, the idea of, because you talk in the book about you don't have to be prosperous or become prosperous. You are already prosperous.
Right.
That's a belief system that you need to, because you can rationally think that thought, but really absorbing that thought into your core is a whole other thought, a whole other thing where it's a conviction. It's not just a thought that I heard and it makes sense to me. It's absorbing it into your very being, and that's a whole different task.
Right. Well, what GD was just saying is that he can just be and be happy, and that really is probably the very essence and foundation of the book. But here's the thing that most people have not gotten up until recently, and that is that we have been in this masculine playbook, which is all about mindset. Right. And the fact of the matter is that really every experience that you've ever had that has caused some sort of an emotion, good or bad, is downloaded chemically into your body. So you speak about addiction, and this is why I love knowing this. And when I learned it about 10 years ago so clearly, especially after getting diagnosed with cancer, is that is where the frequency comes from. And we try to change our mindset, and people do affirmations and all these crazy things that just your brain says that's a lie, because what we have done is between the ages of 1 and 8, we had all of these experiences. We were in the alpha brainwave pattern, and all of these things downloaded. But the emotions are what are stored in our body. And then we go out into the world and we replicate it, because our body is addicted to the emotional chemicals that we've created in our bodies. We don't even know we're doing this. We live in a little pharmacy. So every frequency, every emotion that you have has a chemical frequency, different things. So I'll just use the word cortisol because people understand that word, but all kinds of dopamine and all these chemicals that our bodies and hormones release. And then we get attached to it and we send a frequency or a message up to our brain that says, this is how you react when this happens. So it's programmed, but we try to change it from here instead of here. This is where the change has to happen. So we have to begin to practice having the emotions and the feelings that we want. So for example, let's say that somebody looks at their bank account, and every time they look at their bank account, they have now programmed themselves, and they will continue to do it. I don't have enough. Like they see a charge come across on a credit card that they didn't know what it was for, and they get an emotional reaction, but then it triggers a certain response from an emotional perspective because your body is addicted to feelings. So if we begin to reprogram ourselves, because you said it was hard, it is hard if you do it from here. It's easy if you do it from here. So I have practices in the book about how to recreate emotions so that you reprogram the body to expect good. And when you do that, we're just a radio frequency. That's all we are, walking around on the planet, sending out these frequencies. And by doing that, we see exactly a reflection of what's going on in here. Nothing out there is not something that I didn't create in here, which is really hard for most people that have been raised over the past 2,000 years in this very 3D concept. Figure it out, be strong, do things hard. It's very hard to let that go until you really understand the science behind it, which the science is that all those chemical reactions from feelings and emotions and experiences are inside of the body. So we are now addicted to recreating that. The problem is that until we see that and then use our reticular vision to expect more good to show up, we're going to continue to see the same shit that we did yesterday.
Let me just the cancer survivor thing, a thriver. You purposely use the word thriver where most people use a survivor.
Right.
When you beat cancer, did you do it the traditional way through doctors, or was it just this kind of belief, changing your beliefs and changing your not mindset, your emotional connection to what?
It was mostly that. It was mostly metaphysical, if you will. I did have, I did go to the doctor because they put me in the hospital because I was so sick. And I wasn't able to have my own sovereignty and agency to say no to certain things, which I did finally say no to the chemo. But they convinced me that radiation was the way to go. And had I not been so sick, I would have said no on that as well. And at the same time, they took out my rectum, and life is a little different than what most people have. But the fact is that I did all the holistic stuff plus go to a psychic healer, and it was magical. And I say that cancer saved my life, honestly, because I was on a path to probably going to kill myself anyways. Not kill myself with suicide, but what was happening in my life. So.
So do you end up feeling like that is predestined for you? That you had to go through that lesson for
I believe that everything, I think there's two schools of thought that I use this example that I forget, Sue Morter, I think, is the woman that I heard this from originally. She calls it the bus stop conversation. So that before we come into this place called Earth, we all sit around at a bus stop. I mean, this is metaphoric, obviously, but we all sit around at a bus stop and we raise our hand and say, okay, I want to go in. So GD, that you might get more out of this than what I was trying to explain earlier. And we say we want to go into experience forgiveness or health problems or recover from that, or whatever version you want to say you want to come in and experience. And then we raise our hand and say, who wants to come with me to help me with that mission? So we come onto the planet, and the people that raise their hand at the bus stop then come with us, and they show up in our lives. And this is why I think it's so important for us to recognize that every single person, every single experience that we have is there to serve us, including all those people that we say we don't like, that are triggers for us. And so we come in and we have these experiences. And it doesn't necessarily mean that all of them are pre-planned out, I don't believe. I believe that there are experiences that show up that perhaps maybe one of the people that raised their hand said, hey, I got a great idea. Let me see if I can help you find your way to this path. And then that's what's going to, take you down that road to cancer or to drug addiction or to, being raped or whatever version it is that you came in here to experience. Because honestly, every experience that we have on this planet can be looked at one of two ways. That's bad or that's good. We only make it that way. It isn't bad or good. It just is. And the fact is that, yeah, death seems like it's bad. You're going to go through a grieving process, but you can't be in grief for the rest of your life, right? You could be raped as a woman. And there are so many stories of women that have succumbed to that. And there are other stories where women have actually come out of it, and now they are helping other women go through it. So you can take any experience and choose your path of how you want to transmute that. So anybody that comes into this experience has a plan, I believe, to experience things, but I don't know that the individual circumstances are necessarily preordained before we come here.
Okay. I question that a lot. Like, am I supposed to be going through all this? One of the things you just said in there, and I know I'm going to sound like a contrarian in saying this. It made me think of Ron Kane, who was usually here with us on Fridays, when you said everything that happens to us is either good or bad, or we perceive them as that way. And Ron, who is normally here, would say everything is not bad. Okay. He doesn't have a strong feeling about anything, when anything is good or bad. So
right.
I'm not. He just.
Well, I think that's kind of a nice mind view or world view, because most people don't. We come into this, and if you think about it, we're comparing and contrasting from the moment that we come out of the womb, right? I mean, we're just looking around, right? When we're infants and we're going, okay, that's what that is. I think that's what that is. I don't know what that is. And as we grow up, then everything that we see, we put into a bucket. We compare it and contrast it to who we are and the experience where we're being raised. And then we build our stories around that. So the most important thing about anything that I could share today is that all of our stuff is stories. That's all it is. It's an experience. Byron Katie wrote a book, Loving What Is. We don't love what is. Gratitude is the gateway to everything. So if we love what is in our life, then more comes in. But if we start to resist it, then we do go into what Buddha talks about. We're in suffering. Resistance is suffering. So what are we resisting in our lives? Are we resisting the fact that I don't like that I'm broke? Are we resisting that I hate my husband? Are we resisting that we can't stand where we go to work? I mean, there's so many times in our daily life that we're just resisting our life. And Byron says it's arguing with reality, which, believe me, I do that plenty. I'm not here to say that I do all of this perfectly. I do not. I wake up every morning, say my meditation, that everything is working in my favor. And then, the next thing I know, I walk out and there's a flat tire. Well, how's that working in my favor? Well, it is, but it'll show up later. And the fact is I cannot argue with reality that is right here. What I can do is I can love it. And I can say, what is this experience for me? How am I going to show myself that this is not something that needs to be addressed as resistance? I'm just going to embrace it. I'm going to move through it, and more good is going to show up, because it really is just making those decisions every single day, over and over and over, to have these happy lives.
I appreciate what you're saying, and when you mention gratitude, this definitely resonates with me, and I keep coming back to this. I know I'm a broken record. Is the one thing between telling yourself and absorbing it mentally and feeling it within your core and believing. So just yesterday, I was talking to myself about being grateful for all the things. What a wonderful day it is here. Look at this beautiful thing that I've created for myself. This place in what I think is heavenly. It really is the place where I live. It's a paradise, and I don't say that to brag to people. It's just, for me, it is something that I don't stop myself often enough to say, wow, this is beautiful. I'm going to be grateful for it. And absorbing the idea of gratitude, I can tell myself that, but absorbing it into feeling it is something completely different. And this is what I struggle with, how it goes from here to here.
And that really is the key that you just described. I wrote 2 chapters on gratitude in that book. That's how powerful gratitude is. It is the gateway to everything. Yeah. And it isn't, as you said, it isn't about making a list of what you're grateful for. That doesn't do anything. It doesn't have the emotional feeling, because we're talking about how do we reprogram our body to reflect what we want to see in our lives. And that is through gratitude. And so I call it gratitude on the go. Literally all day, every day, I'm washing the dishes going, God, literally I can feel the energy in my body. I'm so grateful. There's people out there that don't even have dishes. There are people out there that don't have electricity. There are people in the whole world. There are people out there in the world that don't have water. Like when I'm washing the dishes, I think, oh my God, I'm so incredibly grateful that I have water that comes out of this tube over my sink. That's crazy. There are so many people that don't have those things. So I walk every day. So I walk at the park, I walk around the neighborhood. I look at nature. Nature is a symbol of abundance. It's constantly reproducing itself. It's constantly giving to us. So when we begin to look at our lives, just as you said, there's always something to be grateful for. When I was going through treatment, I was laying, in the bed most of the time. And I was so grateful when I could get up, because I was broken on food stamps, literally broken on food stamps. And I'd been a millionaire and I have become again, but that was a period of time where that wasn't happening. I would get up in my one moment that I could get up, and I would do surveys online for $1 and $5 so that I could feel confident about my ability to invest in my own self again. Like I couldn't do anything else. But I was grateful for that. I was grateful when I was in the hospital and the nurse brought me an extra blanket, because the fact is that we take so much for granted. And that is our biggest problem. Most people is they expect that someone is going to come and save them and help them, when the reality is I have all the juice to do what I need to do, just holding that space of gratitude for everything that I have. And that is absolutely the best thing that anybody could start doing right here, right now. Just start being gratitude on the go. As you're driving down the road, you're in your house, you're at your friend's house, and just look around and go, oh my God, this is just incredible. All the things that are available to me, and not to compare yourself with other people, but just to be grateful where you are. That's where we start.
I think comparison is programmed into human condition, and it's one of the most negative things that we can do is constantly compare ourselves to others, and
100%.
And it definitely builds envy. It's a building block of envy, that comparison stuff. This is probably insignificant, but I have to ask it. We're looking at the cover of the book, Your Inner Billionaire, and I can't it looks like a bullet hole, and I'm looking at, and I want to get some clarity on what is the significance
of the portal. It's a portal.
Why does it have that shattered edges around it? Because that's what gives me the impression that this is a bullet hole, I think.
You've got to go through the book to get to the portal. So, it's like getting through it.
Okay. What does Mike Kaufman say? A good show. Deb's a good guest. Well, we have questions. I thank you. I thank you on behalf of her for being a good guest. Now, you talked about male and female energy and emotions, because for me, this is a difficult question to even ask. As a man, as a male, we are kind of conditioned to stifle our emotions, and the only emotions we know really, and I know I'm generalizing here, but we really know how to express is anger, which or sometimes the reaction of fear, which masks itself in anger. But as men, we kind of stifle our emotions or don't get in touch with them. And women are far more emotional beings and honest with themselves emotionally.
Well, okay, so can I take an exception to that? So have you ever experienced joy?
Yeah.
You stay away from my niece.
Yeah.
That's okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Leave my niece alone. She anything to you people.
Yeah, that joy is an emotion. Sorry. Surprise.
But I don't. Yes, but let me, and I'll let you continue.
But those are emotions.
But I don't. People who know me will say, "I've never seen him experience joy," because I don't feel like I have license to express joy. So while I felt it, I don't demonstrated.
Well, because you're stifling doesn't mean that you haven't experienced it before.
That was my point. I think as men, we are by society we are conditioned to stifle those kinds of emotions.
There's many types of emotions, but joy is one of them. Surprise is another one. Have you ever experienced surprise?
Yeah, of course I have.
Yeah.
But again,
when his wife missed her period the first time, he was like, "Whoa, oh crap! I'm gonna be a dad."
Exactly.
Yeah. But yes, again, but I don't necessarily express.
I know you're programmed that way now, but what I'm going to tell you is you can start today to recall those because they're inside of you. They're kind of hidden and deeply embedded, but it's not as if men are any different than women. We all have this spectrum of emotions because we have fear, we have joy, we have anger, we have happiness, we have surprise, we have disgust is an emotion, right? So we want to begin to identify, number one, that's one of the things I do in the book is begin to identify what our emotions are, because I'm going to assure you that there's plenty of men out there that are experiencing the emotion of fear around money because you've also been programmed that you have to be the breadwinners, right? So we want to turn those emotions into the emotions that are high vibration. They're going to actually give you a new signal device to send that out and bring more of what you desire back in. So because you have been programmed up until now, I always say that precedence in our life does not mean our future. It only works in the court system. When you set a precedence and then you follow it, that's for the courts. For us as humans, our past is not our precedence. Our future is based on our now, and we create our future from our now.
Okay.
So what are we doing today to create the future that we want to see and be?
That's a good question. I'll ask myself when the show's over today exactly, because I don't have time to do it like in front of people and just make myself naked in front of the world here, emotionally.
Vulnerability is not your thing either.
Actually, a lot of guests have complimented me on being very vulnerable. So I think I don't necessarily recognize.
I think they meant mentally. I think they meant mentally, not.
Yeah, anyway, so I do have links in the description but one of the links we have in the description is divinewealthactivated.com. Use the coupon code WEALTH. Is that tell us about that? Is that like a live course? What is that?
It's just a download that it's got a toolbox basically for you to begin to expect more good, more wealth, and more abundance in your life. And so it's got a video, it's got some mantras, it's got some meditations, it's got some affirmations, which I know people love. I'm not a big affirmation person. I feel like affirmations are writing on the chalkboard 100 times. I won't pull Sally's pigtails anymore. That little boy pulled her pigtails right after he wrote those 100 affirmations or those things on the chalkboard.
Yeah.
But the fact is if you do, they do work, but mantras and meditations are in there. And it's just an opportunity for you to put it on a board and look at it and then expect. That's the biggest key to anything is we're expecting all the crap that we've been seeing because we just keep saying it's going to happen. This always happens to me, right? So we need to start expecting something else. And so expecting good will then manifest.
I'm glad you said that because I have practiced this, but this is, and now I'm probably with just expressing it in this negative way, also sabotaging that. But every time I do that, expect good things, and then I don't have patience with it. And an hour later, I'm thinking, see, it didn't work. You expected, and then that it becomes a reason to not expect again. So reinforcing the non-expectation. It's a difficult cycle to get out of. I think you
do realize that there is, the research shows that it takes 10,000 hours to be proficient at anything, right? 10,000 hours. Well, as humans, right? I'm 70 years old, so I've been practicing my shit a long time. But the fact is let's say you're 40, you've been practicing your behavior for more than 10,000 hours. Not you, but all the universal.
Now, let's say I'm 40 again. Could you say that one more time?
So let's say you're 40. You've been practicing for more than 10,000 hours. of your behavior, right? And this is what people do. We expect that we're going to change in like 5 minutes. Like I meditated this morning and I'm expecting good. And then, okay, but your programming says, well, that's the practice we've been doing. So now it's about actually, they say, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. You have to begin to actually practice this process. Yeah. It isn't something that happens it can happen in an holy instance, as the Course of Miracles says, but I haven't seen that in too many people. I do see it, but I don't see it in many.
Yeah, waiting for results is definitely something it's part of my condition. My wife, 6 months ago, she got me this black toothpaste, and she said, "I guarantee this will make your teeth whiter." Everybody at work is complimenting. I don't know what it's made of, but she said people at work were commenting on how white her teeth look, and she got it for me 6 months ago, and now I've been using it every day for 6 months, and I don't see any difference. And I'm like, how long did it take?
Did you take a before picture and an after picture? Because if it's such a gradual change, I've noticed
the pictures in here. You're right.
But that's a product. Okay. Products lie, right? This is not about your own internal guidance system. That's a different subject.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate your time here, and we do wish you great success with the book. And of course, you've already had great success. And congratulations on beating cancer, rating addiction, and all the things that you've overcome. It's a very inspiring story, to say the least.
All right. Take care, you guys.
Have a great day. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Debbie Dobbins. I'm going to take the book out there. Do you think she feels like we were being? I was being a contrarian in that. Maybe I am, but I just don't know. None of those things have ever worked for me.
Well, I think I came off maybe as a little prickish. I don't know.
She liked you better than me.
I think only because I tried to speak in terms of metaphysical, but I was trying to, again, you've seen enough of these authors to realize that she's saying the same thing that like umpteen other authors have said. She has a different approach, not even a different approach, but different metaphors, like the thing, but the inner billionaire.
Yeah.
And my like I said, she says she chose it on purpose to be as a trigger. And to me, it was just, I don't know if I felt triggered or if I acted, if I responded like I was triggered or not. I was just saying I thought there are better things to be than a billionaire. If you're gonna,
I think
yeah.
I think it's Roy Rogers one to ride trigger. Again, I'm sorry.
So did Tony the Wonder Horse.
Low hanging fruit. I'm sorry. When we're talking about that one person, like you were talking about religious stuff, and people were basing their things on one. I'm just thinking yesterday, and this has nothing to do with Debbie Dobbins. Yesterday, I watched 2 videos that changed. Well, I always had a negative connotation of Roseanne Barr, but I watched her talking to her son on some podcast yesterday, and she was talking about Chrislam. Chrislam, are you familiar with Chrislam?
I guess that's where Christianity and Islam have
come
sex
together in a conspiracy theory to get rid of the Jews. This is Roseanne Barr's new conspiracy theory, and her son was interviewing her, and you could see her son was like, he's like, you're all over the fucking map here. Can we just explain it again? And he asked her like 9 times, explain exactly what this Chrislam idea you have is. Like Christianity and Islam got together, and who made that decision? The Pope and some I don't know, mullah or something like. But even he was having a tough time grasping.
It sounds like she heard something somewhere, and she just
couldn't fully explain it.
It just fed into something that she believes or wants to be true, and so she just glammed onto the best she could without doing any kind of research or anything.
Yeah, she used the word bullshit a lot, and it seemed like you're talking to yourself, because it sounds like what you're describing is bullshit. Because I can't see at any point. I could see Muslims and Jews getting together before I could see Muslims and Christians getting together, honestly. I mean, because the Christians I know really
for one thing, Christians, to be a Christian, you pretty much have to say that Jesus was the Son of God, and Islam says nope, he was a prophet, and the Jewish people go no, he was a prophet. So the whole basis.
I know Jewish people who don't even think he was a prophet. He was just
when they're being kind, they say okay, yeah, he was a prophet, if anything, and so when they're being kind, they call him a prophet.
Yeah.
But so Christianity is like I can't work with you. But again, Judaism and Islam, they both share the Old Testament. And where they split is some schools of thought in Islam say we have to kill all the Jews, and the Jews they have this crazy idea that we don't want to die. So there's a conflict there, but. And it's not all Muslims that feel that way. It's just a certain sect.
Yeah. I had a conversation with a guy yesterday who was talking about the Bible, and he was talking about the New Testament, the second book.
Starting on page 90, starting on page 109.
Right. But it was like to believe he was talking about how he found that incredulous. I was like, really? That's the point where you figure none of this makes sense? Because to me, it doesn't make it, if you're going to try to think about it logically, right from the beginning, God was this being alone in the darkness, and his first thought, it being alone in the darkness, was, I got to take on a big project. Let's create the universe. Like for me, being alone in the dark, and considering if you accept the idea that God made me in his image, being alone in the dark, my first thing would be, fuck the big project. I got to get beat off first. So
I'm thinking if he's alone in the dark and he made man in his image, that's why we're so fucked up, because he didn't have a mirror. If he turned on the light first and said, oh, that's what I'm making.
He said, let there be light. He did say it, but it was part of a bigger project. Like, I'm going to, this whole create the universe thing. That's not like we need a new.
Well, you see, you can have light, but not shine it on yourself. So he could have said, let there be light, and he shined it out there, didn't turn it on himself. And even if he didn't have a mirror, he should have said, let there be light. Oh, let there be a mirror. Oh, that's what I look like.
Let there be light. How about this? Oh, that was quick light.
Now, this, I said I was going to do this. I have a friend named Alan Katz. His company, what he does is he produces
you have an acquaintance.
Okay. I have a very, very close acquaintance. We're like this, such good acquaintances. If I call him right now, he'll pick up the phone and he'll go, hey, what's up, my acquaintance? And I'll go, acquaintance.
He said my trigger.
That's right. So he released another podcast today. Not the one he and I are working on, but another one. Pulitzer Prize winning photojournalist David Swanson takes us into hot war zones: Bosnia, Iraq, Afghanistan, chaotic natural disasters, the 2010 earthquake in Haiti, Hurricane Katrina, the LA wildfires, and even star-studded red carpet events, to explain that through his pictures, though his pictures may show us what it looked like standing in those places, taking news photos, they can't tell us what it felt like standing there, and it felt like a whole other story. So he's a photojournalist who took pictures of all these disasters, and so he's doing a podcast with Alan to discuss the pictures and the impacts and how it felt. And that starts today, and it's on Apple, Spotify, Amazon.
See, I would have taken a picture of my soiled underwear and say, this is how it feels. There you go. There you go. Photojournalism at its best.
Yeah, when I saw the tsunami coming, oh boy.
Yeah. The other piece of video I watched yesterday was Mr. Ballin, Ballen.
Oh, okay. So you didn't watch my possum video?
What video?
My possum video.
You sent me a coffin video? I don't know.
Possum, the animal. Possum.
No, I didn't.
Possum.
Did you send it to me? I don't see no fucking video.
No, I posted it in Mind Dog TV. I didn't send it.
I don't go to Mind Dog TV. You should go to Mind Dog TV, but I'm not. Do as I say, not as I do. Whatever. But Mr. Ballin. He doesn't do interviews, but he's starting to do interviews. His very first interview show, it's Story Time with Mr. Ballin, but his guest was Tom Segura. And I have to say, I was very down on Tom Segura personally because of his stuff on the Poors, but watching him in this conversation with Mr. Ballin, I kind of left with the idea that he's a pretty good guy. He's a decent guy. He's not this asshole that maybe he learned something from that, but he seemed like a genuinely decent guy after watching this. It changed my view on that. So I can change my opinions. I feel like I'm a little open-minded. Not saying I'm going to be like, I'm going to be a Tom Segura fanboy. I'm not saying that, but he changed my mind from thinking he's a total asshole, somebody I will need to diss. Yeah, he's just another guy. He's a cool guy, kind of. So it's that. Anyway, yeah. You don't still don't even give a shit about who Tom Segura is, do you? You don't. You're not.
No.
Well, the story was.
I did rediscover my appreciation for Kathleen Madigan. I like Kathleen Madigan. I think part of it is her voice, and she sounds like she's having fun while she's telling you her stories, her short stories. She's a storyteller, and she's very amusing. I could see. She's so likable. I like her so much.
Yeah. Well, this whole thing, this Mr. Ballin thing, and Mr. Ballin is a storyteller, but he tells weird and creepy stories most of the time, which is his thing. But the whole thing between him and Segura was the art of storytelling, because Segura is not a joke teller. He's a storyteller. And they were talking about context and how to set up a good story. And Segura was talking about how his mother and his father are completely different. His mother is he says is the greatest storyteller in the world. Compelling. She knows exactly the right amount of information to put into it for the setup and all this stuff. And his father is the worst storyteller in the world and leaves out all the important stuff. And so it was compelling on the idea of how you really engage people and get them to buy in pretty quickly for being a storyteller. I think it's a worthwhile watch, and for anybody who's interested in the art of storytelling.
I honestly believe that to be a good storyteller, you have to be likable to begin with. Otherwise, nobody's going to want to pay attention to you.
But they don't know you a lot of times. Like in a comedy club setting, they don't know you to like you. They can't.
Well, there are certain cues when you walk out there, because people. When we see people on the street, we make almost instant snap judgments. As soon as we, before we even shake a hand, before they even speak, we start making judgments on people, the way they walk, the way they dress, the way they stand, the way they look back at you when you look at them. Do they make eye contact, or do they stare at your feet, or do they stare at your breasts, or are they even just looking anywhere? So we start making those judgments even before they open their mouth, before we get to know people. Yeah. And so the art of a good storyteller begins when people first see you come on stage. How are you coming on? Which is why a lot of people start with a wave. Hey, good morning, America. Good night. So good to be here in Cleveland. Oh, Columbus, or whatever. They do that because they're trying to break through. Say, I'm really likable. I'm really acceptable, even before you hear the stories.
So can you, because people are different now, not everybody is going to be on board with you. Can you overcome that instinct for people not to like it based on just the way you look or the way you carry yourself or the way you just waved? Is for some people that's embracing and they will like
right. And like I don't like it. I don't like that. To be honest, I don't care. Only because it seems so contrived and so it's like the comedians who walk out and go, "How are my people doing tonight?" It's like, well, we're here. No, you don't care. You don't care how we're doing. Don't ask me that question, because if I told you how I was doing, you go like, I got a show to do. I really don't care how you're doing. Right. So don't ask me that question. Don't ask me how I'm doing, because you don't really care.
Yeah, no, that's I know people who say that all the time, and I say, I can spot that it's just a thing to say. How you doing? Yeah,
right.
You don't fucking care how I'm doing. Just say hello.
Yeah, that's it. I just say
Hello is
hello.
what you meant.
I say hi. Hi, I'm GD Fenderson.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. I start there. You know, I walk out. Maybe I don't even usually wave. You know, and I'm only saying this because I've recently been told that even when I'm not funny, people laugh because I'm likable. But they don't know me, so how would they get the impression that I'm likable?
Yeah.
But I've seen it. Now that they pointed it out to me, I've seen me do poorly, and people still like me, and they still laugh, and they still have a good time because they're enjoying my company.
You're one of the good ones.
I'm one of the good ones.
Fine. Did you happen to catch any of the clips, or maybe did you watch the show, Colbert? Did you watch Colbert last night?
I didn't watch I'll watch last night's tonight. My wife and I watch them the day after because we're not up at 11:30 at night, so we record them. And I know Kamala Harris was on there last night.
Yeah, that's why, because you were talking about this likability. People have to like her, and she's on there. And for me, she is so relatable and so likable. And I know that during the campaign, people were the people on the right, the Trumpers for the most part, but even some people who are not hardcore Trumpers were put off by her ability to laugh and be jovial and find joy and stuff. And I find her to be like one of the most authentic human beings that I've ever seen on the public stage. And that's what I'm watching the clips with the Colbert and thinking, I like this person even before they start to speak about the issues.
Right.
She seems authentic to me. She's not trying to hide that. If I feel joy, I'm going to express it. If I feel sadness, I'm going to express it, and all this stuff.
I felt comfortable. I would have felt comfortable with her as president because when this is the vibe I got from her. She could have been one of my aunts, okay? And my aunts, I love them all, okay? But if you got on the good side, they would do anything in the world to help you, you know, and love you and take care of you. But if you got on their bad side, they'd let you know. And you know, like my Aunt Bet, universally, anybody who knew my Aunt Bet universally thinks of her as like being the kindest, most wonderful, loving person that they can think of. You know, I can think of others, but you know, it's not a good contest, but she is up there. And when she told me about my first wife, she calls me after a family event, and she goes, you know we love you, right? And I said, yes.
That's never a good way. Never a good line to hear.
Yeah, she said, and we love to have you at the family events because I didn't go to a lot of family events when I was in my 20s because I was having an outs with my mother, and I knew I had to find out who I was. I had to get away from her oppression, and the only way to get away from her oppression and find out who I was to remove myself. Now, once I got to the point where I could finally stand up to my mother, then I started going to family events. And so I go to a family event and bring my wife, and my Aunt Bet says, you know we love it, and we love it when you come to these family events. She goes, you don't have to bring your wife if you don't want to. That was her way of saying your wife is really a horrible person.
Yeah. But, you know, with Harris, there was so much made of her laughing.
Right.
Like, how does that? I mean, and it was authentic, real laugh. It wasn't this phony laugh. I've never seen her do like a, you know, because there are lots of people in show business, especially.
I mean, like Tom, not Tom, that guy, that Tucker Carlson.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Trump doesn't laugh. Trump does not laugh. He has no sense of humor.
Right. To me, that's what I was going to say. To me, there is so much more likable about somebody who can find humor and stuff and have an authentic laugh than somebody who never laughs. And if I go back with Trump to like 1980, when I was first elected, I've never seen him have an authentic, real laugh.
You don't hear he's never. I don't think I've never seen him or heard him or him have a belly laugh. I've heard him mock people, and like
I've never
even when
seen him have a giggle or a chuckle.
Right, and even the thing when he tries to be funny, he's got this canned thing that he does like this. and then people get accused like he's being like, but no, he's actually a very mean, insecure person, and he's almost always trying to tear somebody down. It's not like he's ever trying to build people up. I think what they did not like about her was the fact that she showed joy, and Trump was a very miserable person, and they're like, when you look at them side by side, it's like I don't want. It's like hating the beauty queen when she stands next to your ugly sister or something. It's like, no, that's my sister. I'm gonna stick with that's. I don't have a choice. That's my sister. How dare you be beautiful and stand next to them?
Yeah. There's so much to unwrap in that, but I'm not sure. There are some people who generally the laugh made them uncomfortable, that joyfulness. But I think the majority of the Trump supporters did not like her because she's a woman of color.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
It comes down to really that, like, it was hard enough. Hey, we went through a half black dude. Come on, you're gonna want us to have a black woman now? Come on, how far do we have to bend the knee to this woke DEI, whatever they want to call it?
Right, and the way you can tell is because their arguments were none of the arguments were actually genuinely about policy that they could shoot down and destroy.
Never.
It was almost always like they started off from a place of a DEI vice president. The black woman. That's where they started. And then they didn't go any place. I've listened to a lot of people on. There's this young kid named Dean Withers, and I catch a lot of his stuff on TikTok and I watch him because he talks to Trump supporters. Now I don't know if he talks to other people, but on his TikToks, he's always talking to a Trump supporter, and he'll say, "Why did you support Trump? Why do you still support Trump?" And he addresses them. And whenever they talk about Kamala Harris, they don't have any facts. I mean, they never have and the things that they think they know are facts. Like, no, she never said that. Actually, that was never a policy. No, that actually was a Trump policy that Trump said that Biden and Harris did. But no, Trump started that. They don't know. They just fucking don't know. They're ignorant.
They don't even for being hardcore supporters and really just totally worshiping him. They never listen to him, and they basically go on what let Fox News or Newsmax or whatever interpret what he said. Give us the soundbite version, but don't actually go back and watch and listen.
This is the other thing that Dean Withers does, because he stalls a little bit. He'll say like, so if you knew, not that this ever happened, but if you knew that, let's say, Trump liked to stare at naked teenage girls, would you still support him? I said, no, that's terrible. I said, I'm not saying that this happened. But if somebody showed you that he liked this, or I would drop him right away, and he would play the audio from Trump talking to Howard Stern when it was he'd walk in on the naked contestants because he owned the pageant, and they go like, oh, that's not. They didn't say he didn't say they were teens. And he goes, okay, what pageant did he own?
Yeah.
And they go like, what do you mean? What was the name of the pageant that he owned? He's like, I don't know. It was Miss Teen USA. Yeah. Do you know what a teen is? Like between ages of 13 and 18 or 19. Those are teenagers. So those are the people he's walking in on.
To be clear, in the Miss Teen, 17 is the cutoff of.
That's right, because for 18 is when you go to Miss America.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So but I was just pulling those numbers. But he would say that's Miss Teen USA, and then they would go, "Oh, that's AI." He never said that, or you've cut it up. It's like, no, that's the whole thing. You can find the whole interview. That's a Howard Stern interview, or they said Trump isn't against the 14th Amendment, and he goes, no, he signed an executive order, to to set aside the 14th Amendment.
Yeah.
And, and they're like, no, that's AI. Because how can it be AI when there's actually court cases on this? The Supreme Court does not hear AI cases that don't exist. It has to be a real case, which means Trump really had to sign the executive order. I mean, these people will twist themselves in pretzels, worse than pretzels, trying to, so that even though they said, if this is true about Trump, I could not support him. They find out it's true about him, and then they just say, no, that can't be right. It's AI. AI is everywhere. AI, well, no, that's not right. It's like, no, you can find it yourself. You can find the clip. That's one of the things I do like about Dean Wither. He confronts them with reality, and very seldom does anybody go, I can't support him anymore.
Right. Yeah. And even the people who have a reaction and then they say, I'm not going to support him anymore. I'm done with MAGA. A lot of these people, Andrew Schultz did that. And then 2 days later, he was back saying, no, I have no regrets for supporting him and all that stuff. They do an about face pretty quick. When they have that moment of, he said he was going to release the Epstein files. Why won't he? It seems suspicious. I can't support him anymore. 2 days later, they're back and fully on the MAGA.
Well, it's like breaking up with an ex after you've been with them for like 20 years, and that's why if one of my friends breaks up with someone, I don't say anything bad about them because I know they'll be back. Right. And then they'll say, remember Susan? Oh yeah, you mean the slut that you broke up with? Yeah, we're back together. We're getting married. We decided to work. We worked it out. We're going to get married. It's like, oh, she's a wonderful person.
Yes. Did you see yesterday? He had a thing with his shoulder. People were overreacting to this thing. It definitely looked like a weird spaz out moment. He was walking away and he had and then he looked over like, did anybody see that? Like a very self-conscious moment. But people were saying, I think he had a mini stroke and all this stuff, but they're making a big thing over it. It definitely looked weird. I think we are so those of us who are on the side of humanity are looking forward to the day that he's fucking no longer with us, that if he sneezes, we're gonna think that's a reason to be optimistic. Look, he might be dying soon. Did you see the clip?
No. Is it my imagination? Is his hair getting thinner? It seems like he should be able to stick out further. And the other day I saw him, it looks like he was trying really hard to cover more surface area with less hair.
Maybe. I'm not even.
I'm scared. I'm scared of that because last time that happened, he got the hair plugs, and that's when he raped his wife, Ivana. Is that his wife? That was his wife.
Yeah.
He got really nasty, and I'm afraid that if he doesn't have anyone to rape, he's going to take it out on the country if he goes well, I think they've made advances in Rogaine and stuff, so maybe he won't have to get the surgery.
Yeah. Trump mini stroke. Let me see if this comes up. Okay. To me, it definitely looked like something weird happened with him, but not to the point where I thought it was life-threatening or any way, or because I've had a mini stroke and I know that's not what it looks like. But I want to see if I can find this clip. Oh yeah, here it is. Let's see. Let me stop it here and bring it back, and then I'll share it now. Share screen and Twitter. Here it is. Now, if I hit this,
can I ask you about lighting up, Mr. President?
That.
Can I ask you about lighting up?
Maybe I can.
Can I ask you about lighting up, Mr. President? Can I ask you about lighting up? Can I ask you about lighting up, Mr. President? Can I ask you about...
All right. So, but you could see his reaction.
Could you play one more time?
Really? All right.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Back to share it one more time. Share screen. Twitter. One more time. Let me play it from the top again.
Can I ask you about lighting up, Mr. President? Can I ask you about lighting up? Can I ask you about lighting up, Mr. President?
Okay, yeah. Spasm.
He looks like he got caught oh, I hope no. That reaction that he had looks around like, oh, I hope nobody saw that. Like, how could you hide that fucking thing? But that doesn't seem like a mini stroke. It just seemed like a kink.
A spasm. Yeah, that seems more like a spasm. Like it kind of like reminded me of again Dick Cheney Whenever Dick Cheney told a lie, he'd contort to one side.
Yeah, but he wasn't. I would agree. Like that could be a body language tell or whatever. But he wasn't even saying it. He was just walking out and.
Oh, you know he's thinking of a lie. He's thinking of a lie. I'm just saying.
But now a couple of very left wing, YouTube, new media outlets have been reporting that inside sources within the administration are spotting his health declining rapidly, and nobody is bringing. And like, where's Jake Tapper now? What if this was Joe Biden? They'd be saying this is a big cover up. They're saying this stuff is constant and never ending. What we saw just caught on tape there. And that he has trouble getting through every single day. And they were showing pictures of him just yesterday falling asleep while somebody next to him was talking. Like he's having trouble staying awake. He's having trouble, and when he does, he finds himself like waking up and freaking out.
And he was falling asleep in court. Even this is a few years ago. He was falling asleep in court.
I was falling asleep in court in my 20s, to be honest with you. I mean, court can be. And full disclosure, it probably was a little high.
Oh yeah, I doubt that he was high.
Yeah.
So I can see you nodding up being high or having a few drinks. And he claimed it was like the heat, or then it was the cold, or then it was Hi, Sunshine. Aloha. Sunshine just showed up in but she showed up at the end, Sunshine. We're at the end.
Good morning, Sunshine.
Yeah, we're in this is our overtime. Technically, we end at 11. This is just our overtime. We're just shooting the shit.
Sunshine. Remember in the beginning, wake up, Sunshine, right? You got a dog that needs walking, right? Yeah, that's who he's talking to, Sunshine. Good morning, Sunshine. So we're just about to say goodbye.
She said she's going to watch the rerun. Better late than never.
Are you sure?
Not unless we're talking about pregnancy.
Are you sure? Are you sure you're using the right pronoun there? You're saying she, like we know that she is the.
Well, it says. Well, I will watch the rerun better late than. No, I'm saying well, actually, I've been saying she for a couple of days, and Sunshine hasn't corrected me. Now, true, I had a friend whose nickname for me was Sunshine. She used to call me Sunshine. She said because whenever she saw me, it was like I would brighten up everybody's day.
I think my ex-brother used to refer to you as that shine. Maybe that's what he meant. I'm just making that up. But that was a phrase he would use, not towards you, but against black people all the time. That was his that was his racial epithet, is that shine? Like, what are you talking shine?
A reference to shit and shinola or brown shoe polish, or
I don't know. I don't, whatever it meant. Possibly, yeah, a shoe shine. Weird. There were a lot of Long Island racial epithets towards black people that make no sense even on Long Island. They make no sense to people if you'll think about it logically. But I'm sure most of the country hasn't heard a lot of them.
all the good ones were taken, and if you're trying not to be racist, or you have to find a word that your friends can use, so you all know what you're talking about. But everybody else, and like I said, the good ones all the good ones were taken.
Yeah. Not the case with everything. When Debbie Dobbins was talking about the bus stop analogy, I'm thinking Willie losing the fucking power cord. I don't know. I couldn't get past that. It's not necessarily a bus stop. It was JFK or El LaGuardia, wherever the fuck I dropped. No, it was JFK. Anyway, next week we have no guests booked on the morning show until Friday, and we have 2 guests on Friday. The second one just came through. We only had one on Friday up until right before the show, but that one of those guests is a former cameraman and behind the scenes technician in a lot of TV and movie production. He's now written a book. I think it's a self-help book. That's next Friday. So I have to get to work this weekend and booking up Monday through Thursday, or maybe we should just take off.
So I'm assuming that because Alan Katz was supposed to have been getting booked onto the show, so he could promote the new podcast along with he's going to bring the photographer with him so they could pump up the broadcast. the
Get him
podcast.
on. You're a
Well,
Selvin
yeah,
guy.
I sent him the stuff for the booking stuff.
He should have had it too already.
The music guests they reminded of Intro to Rhoda. I'm trying to think of. I can't remember Rhoda. The music for Rhoda.
Yeah, music for Rhoda. I can't. That's a good one.
I remember Mary Tyler Moore's theme song.
I still play it. I know we're over time, but this whole wedding thing, I got to come up with 3 hours of just guitar, like chord melody stuff, and I was just going like, there's not enough. That's a lot. I'm up to about like an hour and a half of confident stuff that I could get.
How about Classical Gas? Play Classical Gas. You could drag that up.
That's one of the ones I already play. But I mean,
okay.
I don't think that's necessarily appropriate for wedding music. I know what they're going to want to hear, and I'm still waiting on a list of requested songs. It's an old.
How about Blackbird by the Beatles? Blackbird singing in the dead of night. That's a pretty nice instrumental piece. Take these broken wings and learn to fly.
Yeah, that's about the civil rights movement again.
But the music, I'm just saying, if it's just a music, it's a nice melodic piece.
Yeah, I think they want more. Like they got me learning. Well, they didn't give me the full list, but I'm just assuming because it's an older couple, lots of love songs like the Carpenters. We've only just been, typical wedding fare stuff. But it's a lot.
Then in that case, you're probably stuck with "Wonderful Tonight." One in a Million by Larry Graham.
I got that one. Got that one.
The Songs for You, Elton John. Yeah. You got to have that.
Always and Forever.
Yeah.
Lots of these. Yeah, these are all the.
How about? I got one. You probably don't even have this one. Fire by Earth, Wind, and Fire. I mean, Fire by Ohio Players. Fire, dun 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 dun.
That would be a different.
The way you walk and talk, it really sets me off.
I started trying to play with like Brick House, which is really difficult to do in that.
It is stuff. Yeah, it is.
That's a difficult one. I'm trying to stay away from anything that is necessarily got like a really strong rhythmic background.
Yeah, you have to.
Then I have to become Tommy Emmanuel and banging and thumbing and all over the place.
I used to do a song parody in the beginning of my thing, and it was based on Rio, the song Rio. Actually, what it was back when the Olympics were in Rio, and so I took the song Rio and I just made the words all about the Olympics, and it was pretty fucking funny. But you're doing it on an acoustic guitar, and it's like you're missing half a dum 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 bang. It's like, and I was doing it with an acoustic, but fortunately the words were strong enough that people didn't. I stopped doing it because I can't listen to the guitar trying so hard to be Duran Duran. I couldn't do it.
All right, so have a good weekend. I think we'll wrap it up here. This has been the shortest show of the week, and we're still overtiming somehow. I don't know. I just can't stop myself from talking. I'm like,
now that guy. Wait a minute, that guy Selvin. Is he? You say he's on?
He's on this Wednesday
night. Okay.
I'm so tired of doing the night show. I wish nobody would ever book it again. It's just there in case, and then people keep booking it. It's like, yeah. I mean, the only good thing about it is StreamYard, because it's an hour long. StreamYard does the shorts, and I don't have to do any extra work or editing on that. StreamYard automatically generates one, and those have been helpful. But I just hate the Wednesday night thing. I'm out of my groove by Wednesday night. Come on, I want to get high and paint.
I saw this. Did StreamYard do the short for the Reverend about the his name? But no, the it ends with the where he says, "I come by many names and by many methods, but I don't come easy."
Yeah.
No, did StreamYard created that one, or did you create that one?
No, I think they did it.
Wow, they actually ended it, because sometimes they do these things. They don't end it at a smart place. It's like, no, there's something more to it, but that seems like a world's
They,
logical.
they are stuck. They haven't adapted to the YouTube expanding shorts to 3 minutes, so they are stuck with under a minute. So they keep everything right at the minute thing with StreamYard. They need to adapt that and expand it to up to 3 minutes, and that would be helpful.
I even haven't adapted to that because I'm still stuck at 90 seconds. But I think that's a good thing for me because it's teaching me how to cut out extraneous shit.
Yeah.
Which is,
All right. Have a good weekend. We are Monday potluck, folks. Tune in and see what you get. What you get. What you see is what you get. And maybe we should have a little service here for Ron Kane, the late Ron Kane.
Well, we don't know that he's dead yet. He may just be burying his mom.
All right.
But I would like to take this opportunity for those of you who are still watching to check out the Reverend Show on Sunday at 9 a.m. I mean, if you can check this show out at 9 a.m., maybe you can check out the Reverend Show at 9 a.m. on Sunday.
Absolutely, yeah, and keep me company because generally, I in the chat room at least. I mean, trying to respond to the Reverend. And listen, there are lots of chat rooms going, but we don't see them all because, whatever, all those other networks, Rumble and BitChute, and even the Twitter stuff doesn't come through.
Well, Kick, we see Kick, but we can't. Yeah. I don't know if Kick sees anything that you type.
Yeah, no, I don't think they do. And BitChute has been very good to it. I mean, there have been some very good comments so far. So this will be the Rev's first show on BitChute. BitChute.
And I guess I should subscribe to BitChute. Is it difficult to subscribe to?
No, it's pretty easy to subscribe to, and they're a little iffy on a lot of the issues of uploading and all that kind of stuff is still a little strange. And I still don't get what I need to buy tokens for. There's the whole thing,
especially when you have one working on the show.
Yeah, there is they have other like BlogShoot and PayShoot, which you can get paid for just uploading content. And I can't figure out and all the mechanisms on that just yet. But it seems to be like it's a platform that shows a lot of promise for content creators to make money. Not enough people know about it, so I haven't seen like many videos with more than 1,000 views on it there. Which is, if you look at YouTube, you'll find videos with 1 billion views. There's a big difference. They have a long way to go before they're ready to compete with YouTube or even Rumble. Right. Rumble lies. At least BitChute's not lying yet. So, all right, let's tell people to turn on your radio and have a great weekend. Thanks for coming, and bye for now.
I
to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me.